up 110 glorious minutes of positive storytelling through music, mixed in with inspirational features to provoke thought and to heal the soul.
You're like a dream come true, just wanna be with you.
So join me, Diane Ashton Smith, this and every Sunday, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. Urban Paradise, opening our hearts, connecting to others.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the police are probing a double murder of a 29-year-old teacher and her 14-year-old daughter in Spanish Town.
Estimates say Hurricane Melissa caused $35 billion in damage to the nation's roads. That figure is expected to rise.
Almost 200,000 buildings across the country were damaged by the hurricane.
The Education Ministry is providing up to $1 million to schools for cleanup activities.
The grants will be from $300,000 to $1 million, depending on how much cleanup they're doing. And so those will start going out to the schools.
A new witness has taken the stand in Noel Maitland's trial as the prosecution ramps up its case against him.
In news from the rest of the world, U.S. aircraft carrier nears Venezuela in a show of power of the American military.
The BBC has apologized to Donald Trump over a controversial edit, but it refuses to pay him any money.
In headline sports, Jamaica could secure a spot at FIFA World Cup finals in Port of Spain tonight.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division in the Industry Ministry is cautioning the public to avoid purchasing rice, flour, red kidney beans or cornmeal from unverified sources. This after 4 containers seized for disposal in Montego Bay were found missing. Chief Food Storage Officer at the FSPID, Dr. Roy McNeil, will join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, what are some of the most shocking food prices you're seeing in the markets? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, representatives from several quarters have called for accountability mechanisms to provide oversight for Hurricane Melissa relief. OTPEM's Director General, Commander Alvin Gale, will join us.
In the third hour, the Reggae Boys are set to face Trinidad and Tobago tonight in a crucial CONCACAF World Cup qualifying game in Port of Spain, with the aim of qualifying for next summer's FIFA World Cup. Nationwide sports editor Wayne Walker will join us to talk about it.
We'll have all these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, RevaNews.ai, and on the Reva News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Thursday afternoon, it's Thursday, November 13, 2025.
The hour is brought to you by the new Doritos Zinger from KFC. The delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy Zinger and Doritos. Also available in Barbecue Zinger, limited time only. KFC Doritos Zinger, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. We begin this afternoon with a developing story. Nationwide News understands that the police are at this hour probing the double murder of a teacher and her daughter in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. They've been identified as 29-year-old Tara Pinnock and her 14-year-old daughter, Talia. Miss Pinnock was a teacher at Bridgeport Primary in the parish. It's understood Miss Pinnock has not been seen at school for the last 2 days. The school's principal reportedly became concerned and alerted the lawmen who went to Pinnock's home. The police forced their way inside the house where the bodies of the two were found inside a bedroom. They were reportedly lying in pools of blood. It's understood they appear to have been stabbed to death. Nationwide sources say Miss Pinnock lived with her common-law spouse. His location is unknown at this hour. The Spanish Town police are investigating and will have more in subsequent newscasts.
Preliminary assessments put the damage caused by Hurricane Melissa to the country road network at $35 billion. That's according to Works Minister Robert Morgan. He says the sum is likely to increase. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
Just over 2 weeks after Hurricane Melissa damaged much of western Jamaica, the cost to recover from its devastation is becoming more apparent. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has suggested total cost of the devastation is over $1 trillion. Repairing the nation's roads will take $35 billion of that amount, at least in the interim. Works Minister Robert Morgan presented the assessment at a special media briefing at the office of the Prime Minister on Thursday.
The cost preliminarily that we have seen in terms of damage to our road infrastructure is about $35 billion. But we have not yet completed our assessments, so we expect that that figure will increase over time.
That estimated $35 billion also includes the impact on drains, gullies, and key sections of the island's major corridors. Minister Morgan says the government has already started work to ensure relief efforts and aid can flow into heavily hit areas.
Immediately after the hurricane, we did our quick impact survey and found that 370 roads were essentially impacted, but we were able to clear most of them, about 85% of them within 5 days. We prioritized routes that dealt with hospitals, airports, and would provide needed supplies to areas that were impacted. We also had a lot of coordination with ourselves and the ODPEM and focused on rapid clearing. Currently, last week we had about 61 roads that were blocked. Currently we have about 30, as you can see. The number increased from 370 the last time I presented to now it's 396 roads affected.
He says $5 billion in emergency expenditure has been approved by Cabinet to fast-track recovery.
Well, Cabinet has decided that preliminarily we will be spending $5 billion through the National Works Agency to, one, reopen roads, including some drain cleaning, $1 billion for road repairs, and this is just emergency road repairs, and also $2 billion for repairs to gullies, particularly the Sandy Gully, the North and South Gully, and their tributaries, as well as some minor culverts, gullies, and fordings across the island. And we have received Cabinet permission to spend $5 billion on that.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Approximately 191,000 buildings sustained minor or severe damage by Hurricane Melissa. That's according to the Director General at ODPEM, Commander Alvin Gale.
Approximately 960,000 buildings have been assessed. Of this total, some 191,000 buildings, or about 20% of those assessed, have sustained damage ranging from minor to severe. Within the subset, 146,000 structures, represent some 15% of those assessed, have experienced major to severe structural damage. These include cases of extensive roof or wall loss, and in some instances, total collapse. In the parishes of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. James, and Hanover, they continue to record the highest concentrations of damage, consistent with the storm's trajectory and the wind field data recorded during landfall.
Commander Gale provided the update at a media briefing this morning. The Category 5 system has left more than 90,000 families homeless. The commander says data from the assessment will be used to guide the National Recovery Framework.
The preliminary spatial data map shows dense clusters of destruction along the coastal and low-lying areas, particularly those in the agricultural and residential zones, where flooding and storm surges have compounded wind-related impacts. Structural damage patterns also suggest significant variation between parishes, with western parishes generally facing the brunt of the effects. The findings from the assessments are now being used to inform the National Framework for Recovery, including the prioritization of shelter, targeted material support, and the establishment of safe housing zones.
Commander Alvin Gale, the Director General at ODPEM.
Meanwhile, Commander Gale says additional post-Hurricane Melissa operational hubs will be established to bolster recovery efforts.
Through combined efforts of the ODPEM and our partner agencies, more than 90,000 care packages have been issued and over 570,000 hot meals distributed to affected communities. The JDF is now maintaining 2 national Melissa relief warehouses for the ODPEM with parish operational hubs in St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, Kingston, St. James. Other hubs will be set up in Trelawney, Westmoreland and Hanover over the next 48 hours.
Commander Alvin Gale, Director General at ODPEM.
Now, schools impacted by the passage of Hurricane Melissa will soon be provided with rapid resumption grants. That's according to the Education Minister, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon. Speaking at a media briefing this morning, the minister says many schools have started to do their own repair work ahead of the resumption of learning.
Yesterday I was in Trelawney and St. James, and a lot of schools have suffered tremendous damage. Some schools just don't exist anymore. I went to one school where not one room can be used. So we're going to have to be very creative in trying to get school back. And so the schools have started to clean up, especially in the west, but they need some more support. And so the Ministry of Education is very pleased to provide, through the Cabinet, grants to all of our schools that were affected in the west with cleanup grants. Some have more cleanup to do than others. Many have already started, and so we're just supporting that activity.
Dana Morris Dixon. In a statement on Wednesday, the ministry says over 600 schools across affected regions require urgent support to restore functional learning environments. The ministry says it will support schools by allocating funds ranging from $300,000 to $1 million Jamaican dollars to support initial cleanup activities. The minister says distribution of these grants will begin in short order.
The grants will be from $300,000 to $1 million, depending on how much cleanup they're doing. And so those will start going out to the schools starting tomorrow. And so I thank the team at the ministry, especially our CFO, for making sure that those funds can get to the schools as quickly as possible.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, the Education Minister.
Almost 100 farmers registered with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, are set to benefit from a $2.8 million insurance payout. The payout is being made under the Grace Kennedy Weather Protection Program to aid their recovery from the impact of Hurricane Melissa. Of the 98 registered farmers, 49 will receive the maximum payout of $50,000 under their coverage. The parametric insurance product is administered by Grace Kennedy General Insurance Company Limited. It's designed to safeguard the livelihoods of local farmers and fishers against extreme weather events, including excess rainfall, drought, and hurricane-force winds. A symbolic check representing the total sum was handed over to farmer beneficiaries during a ceremony at the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining's Hope Gardens office in St. Andrew on Wednesday. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green described the handover as a bittersweet moment. He says the sector had been poised for a record-breaking production year when Hurricane Melissa struck Jamaica's southwestern coast and swept northward across the island. He hailed the timeliness of the insurance scheme, noting that it will assist farmers, some of whom were still recovering from the impacts of Hurricane Beryl and Tropical Storm Raphael in 2024.
The damage to the National Water Commission NWC's operations due to Hurricane Melissa has exceeded $10 billion. Water Minister Matthew Samuda made the revelation at a media briefing this morning.
The impact to the National Water Commission's operations of Hurricane Melissa is indeed extensive. The disruptions, damage, indeed lost revenue, reduced collections, and cost of relief and restoration will exceed 10 billion Jamaican dollars.
The minister says the cabinet has been briefed of all the issues. He says a restoration and relief plan has also been presented.
That plan includes clearing access to sites, temporary repairs to raw water, transmission and distribution pipelines, installation of standpipes in communities without electric power, trucking of water, both through the Water Commission's own trucks and through members of Parliament and indeed the municipalities, office building repairs, purchase and rental of standby generators. This first phase of our restoration plan will cost
3.25 billion Jamaican dollars. Over the coming 4 to 6 months, items that should not be procured in an emergency way will see the benefit of a $6.95 billion restoration plan, which will have layers of resilience to ensure that as we build back particularly stronger.
That's Matthew Samuda, the Water Minister. As of Thursday, water has been restored to approximately 76% of affected NWC customers.
Senator Dr. Elon Thompson has been appointed to assist the Ministry of Health's hospital recovery efforts. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement in a statement on Thursday. He says Dr. Thompson, who is a respected medical professional, will play a vital role in assessing operating theatres across the hospitals affected by Hurricane Melissa. Minister Tufton says Senator Thompson will be focused on determining the theatre's current functionality and identifying recovery needs. Senator Thompson will also be prioritizing the interventions required to restore and sustain safe surgical services. Additionally, he'll aid the coordination efforts of volunteers both locally and internationally for the continued provision of clinical services in hospitals.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
15 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offices in Mandeville and Mobay are closed until further notice. The Kingston office is operational. Rentokil Initial empathizes with our fellow Jamaicans as we rebuild Jamaica together. The temperature brought to you by Rentokil Initial is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
Ho, ho, ho! And what would you like for Christmas?
A paint tough enough for my messy grandkids. Perfect color matching for my living room.
Paint that covers in fewer coats,
A finish that stands up to sun or rain,
BH Paints has you covered. Now up to 25% off.
Be one of the first 200 monthly to register on championsofcolor.com and get a free gallon of BH New Ultimate Advanced Formula. No purchase required.
All I want for Christmas is BH Paints.
Discounts available at BH Paint stores and participating hardwares.
Continuing the news, the National Fisheries Authority, NFA, has announced a 6-month waiver on license and registration fees for fisherfolk severely impacted by Hurricane Melissa. This forms part of the authority and the Ministry of Agriculture's recovery efforts to support the sector in its Back to Sea Safely action plan. Dr. Gavin Bellamy is the CEO of the NFA.
This waiver is a critical step in supporting our fishers during this challenging period of recovery. Hurricane Melissa has destroyed livelihoods and damaged critical assets. By suspending these fees, we are aiming to ease the financial burden on our fishers, allowing them to focus on repairing their vessels and gear and returning to sea to provide for their families and our nation.
Dr. Gavin Bellamy, CEO of the National Fisheries Authority. The NFA says this waiver applies to all registered fishers in the western and central parishes which experience severe impact from the Category 5 system.
A new witness, a data forensic analyst from the JCF's Communication Forensic and Cybercrime Division, CFCD, took the stand on Thursday in the trial of Constable Noel Maitland. The testimony focused on the early stages of the phone data investigation following the disappearance of 24-year-old Donnelly Donaldson in July 2022. Donaldson was last seen at Maitland's New Kingston apartment on July 13 that year. Evidence so far suggests that she made several phone calls on the day she went missing. The analyst testified that on July 20, 2022, the CFCD received a formal request to retrieve mobile data connected to multiple phone numbers linked to the missing person case. He explained that the process followed standard procedure. The request was entered into the CFCD register, assigned a reference number, and a notice was issued to the relevant service providers. The witness said he prepared a technical report after receiving the provider's response. He analyzed data for 8 phone numbers, 7 of which carried Jamaica's 876 area code. During analysis, he assigned color codes to numbers of interest and inserted names that investigators had attributed to specific phone lines. The analyst testified that once his findings were completed, they were handed over to the lead investigator. The trial continues on Monday morning at 10.
The Transport Authority says over 50 prosecutions were launched and over 30 motor vehicles seized in the last 3 days due to the overcharging of fares. In a release, the authority says the recently launched Operation Reset focused on overcharging of fares by public passenger vehicle operators and is already making strides. Managing Director Ralston Smith says the authority will continue its efforts across the island to eliminate the illegal practice. He's warning operators who overcharge passengers that their road licenses can be suspended or revoked. Commuters are being urged to assist the authority by reporting any occurrence of the illegal practice by calling 876-926-8912 or send a WhatsApp message to 876-551-8196.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The most advanced U.S. aircraft carrier is expected to reach the waters off the coast of Venezuela in days. The impending arrival of the USS Gerald R. Ford in Caribbean waters is seen as a flex of American military power not seen in Latin America for generations. Experts disagree on whether American warplanes will catapult off the Ford to bomb targets inside Venezuela and further pressure authoritarian President Nicolas Maduro to step down. But they agree that the presence of the 100,000-ton warship is sending a message. The Ford's impending arrival is a major moment in the Trump administration's campaign in South America, which it describes as a counter-drug operation. Already U.S. strikes on both in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific Ocean, the Trump administration claims our drug traffickers have killed over 75 people.
The BBC has apologized to U.S. President Donald Trump for a Panorama episode which spliced part of a speech, but it has rejected his demands for compensation. The corporation says the edit had given the mistaken impression that President Trump had made a direct call for violent action and said it would not show the program again. Lawyers for Trump have threatened to sue the BBC for $1 billion in damages unless the corporation issues a retraction and apologizes and compensates him. The fallout from the scandal led to the resignations of 2 senior BBC executives. The apology comes after a second similarly edited clip was broadcast on Newsnight in 2022 and was revealed by the Daily Telegraph. In its corrections and clarification section, which was published today, the BBC said it accepted that its edit unintentionally created the impression that it was showing a single continuous section of the speech rather than excerpts from different points in the president's address.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the police are probing a double murder of a 29-year-old teacher and her 14-year-old daughter in Spanish Town, St. Catherine.
Estimates say Hurricane Melissa caused $35 billion in damage to the nation's roads. That figure is expected to rise.
Almost 200,000 buildings across the country have been damaged by the hurricane.
The Education Ministry is providing up to $1 million to schools for cleanup activities.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robeanne Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at rivernews.ai and on the River News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy delicious. crunchy. New collaboration run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
SCL Jamaica Limited is having a big blowout sale. Up to 70% off on Milwaukee tools. From power drills to saws, their top-notch Milwaukee tools will handle any project with ease. Hurry to SCL Jamaica Limited at Block L, Sagicor Industrial Center, 7 Norman Road, or call 876-938-1397 for more details. Sale runs November 10 to 28. Terms and conditions apply. Milwaukee, nothing but heavy duty.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Olympic organizers have come under fire after confirming that all 3 rounds of the women's 100 meters, the prelims, the semifinals, and the finals will take place on the opening day of the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Traditionally, the men and women's 100 meters are spread across 2 days, giving the athletes roughly 24 hours between heats and finals to recover. But in a move that officials say is designed to enhance the opening day spectacle, World Athletics announced that the entire women's 100 meters competition will unfold on July 15. Under the revised schedule, preliminary and first round heats will take place during the morning session, while the semifinals and final will take place in the evening program. In fact, it will be the headline for the evening program, effectively compressing what they usually have over 2 days in just 12 hours of competition. The decision has already sparked criticism from across the athletics community, with concerns centered on athlete welfare and performance integrity. President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Christopher Samuda, is amongst the first to voice strong opposition.
We therefore must guard. We have to guard against money, putting on legs and racing to the finish line without a heart and conscience. It is Olympic Games, yes, but local organizing committees of the Games and federations, international federations, are really the decision makers. And so the IOC may simply be at the table without a casting vote.
Jamaica, home to some of the world's fastest sprinters, including multiple Olympic champions, have long dominated the women's 100 meters. In fact, they've produced 4 of the last 5 women's 100 meters champion at the Olympic Games. Shelley twice, Elaine twice. Samuda argues that the new format could unfairly disadvantage competitors by reducing the time available for physical and mental recovery between the rounds.
The athlete must always be at center stage and not in the wings, awaiting commercial decisions that seemingly exploit their very talent in garnering ticket sales. We must be careful, very careful, that the humanity of sport is not lost in the commercialism of sport and the urge to satisfy fan engagement. The thrill of victory can still be secured, can still be guaranteed in allowing the status quo to remain instead of pursuing a course which safe sport advocates will tell you may result in the agony of injury. And if that injury is serious, it may very well result in the agony of defeat that sidelines a career in sport.
President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Christopher Samuda. Jamaica could seal a spot at the FIFA World Cup next year when they take on Trinidad and Tobago in a crunch CONCACAF World Cup qualifier at the Hazel Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain, and that kicks off in just under 2 hours' time. Jamaicans, they lead the group with 9 points. The Trinis are in third at the minute with 5. Now, a victory for Jamaica and defeat for Curacao against Bermuda in Hamilton. That game kicks off at the same time. Now, if Jamaica wins tonight and Curacao is beaten, the Jamaicans will qualify for a second appearance at the World Cup following their first, historically 28 years ago. Now, the Soca Warriors were beaten 2-0 in the reverse game in this fixture on September 9 here in Kingston, and it's a game that Jamaica can afford to lose tonight. However, coach Steve McLaren is thinking much further.
This is also a must-win game for us. You know, I know everyone looks at the points and things, but everywhere we go, we come to win. And so that's what we've been doing. We put a team out that we think can win the game, and we go for winning the game. But I've got to say, we've come across Trinidad and Tobago many times now, and they're improving every game. And they're getting better and better. Been very unlucky, I thought, twice against Curaçao. So we know this is not going to be easy.
National Football Senior Team Coach Steve McLaren. Rico Henry of Premier League outfit Brentford has been called to the national team for the first time. He trained with the team yesterday, and he says his integration with the other players are going well at the minute.
Everyone made me feel welcome. The manager, the players. I just can't wait to get started. Obviously, training was good. Just looking forward to Trinidad, the game. And we need to, obviously get the win. So it's a big game for us, and looking forward to it.
New Reggae Boy invitee Rico Henry. Former Jamaica national senior men's football team coach Jaime Hallgrimson today he steered the Republic of Ireland to one of their biggest football victories in years. They beat Portugal by 2-0 at the Aviva Arena in Dublin to keep alive their World Cup qualifying hopes. The 23-year-old striker Troy Parrott got both goals for Ireland, who would have been out of the World Cup if they were beaten, and in the process they have delayed Portugal's advancement to the World Cup finals.
Drilled in around the back, Scales wins the header in! Troy Parrott lift off at the Aviva Stadium. That is a massive, massive goal. And no surprise, it is the man banging for Troy Parrott who's got it. The assist from Liam Scales. Beautiful delivery on the corner to the back post. Troy Parrott shifts it, gets his shot away! Troy Parrott on the double! And talk about the cat amongst the pigeons. This is dreamland for Ireland. We were hoping they might see it through to half-time 1-0. It is 2-0 and Troy Parrott strikes again.
So Ireland, they're now up to second in the group, and it's now all to play for on Sunday, the final day. They head to Hungary, and Portugal will take on Armenia. Any one of those three teams, Hungary, Ireland and Portugal, can get the automatic qualification spot from that group. In the meantime, France, they clinched their spot to the World Cup finals next year. They were easy 4-0 winners over Ukraine at the Parc des Princes in Paris today. A double from their captain and inspirational leader Kylian Mbappe. England, who had already secured their qualification, they maintained their 100% record. They were easy 2-0 winners over Serbia at the Wembley Stadium in London. The goals coming from the Arsenal pair, Eberechi Eze and Bukayo Saka, and Norway all but secured their spot at the FIFA World Cup next year. They won by 4-0 over Estonia. They're so close to qualifying for their first World Cup for the first time in 28 years. Erling Haaland, who else? He got a double for them today as well. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade. From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocho Rios to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's Airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
29 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's the same in the western city, Montego Bay.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy. New collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos, nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? GeoLand Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. GeoLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Oh
would perform outlast. Guilty. With top performance. Guilty. Jackhammer. Reliable. Full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. With 2 to 3 years. Hilton. Available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply. We service what we sell.
After Hurricane Melissa, the road to recovery begins. If your family has been affected by the hurricane, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security is here for you.
Led by the ministry, teams are on the ground conducting household damage assessments and delivering assistance in communities where we are most needed. We are the People's Ministry, and we're leaving no one behind.
For further information, call our Client Care Center at 876-922-8013. Send us a WhatsApp message at 876-582-8972 or 876-849-8614 or email us at clientcare@mlss.gov.jm. Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa may have tested our strength, but it didn't take our spirit of solidarity, compassion, and resilience. With the support of local partners and the international community, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security is standing with every family, rebuilding lives.
Our officers are on the ground assessing needs, offering relief. We are visiting every affected household in every community. Because caring for our people is what we do best, together.
For further information, call our Client Care Center at 876-922-8013. Send us a WhatsApp message at 876-582-8972 or 876-849-8614 or email us at clientcare@mlss.gov.jm. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security, the People's Ministry, leaving no one behind.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-link?
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. You're tuned into the Cover Story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
How are you, my friend?
Doing quite well. How are you, sir?
Good, I'm all right. Good. Some important news, listeners. The Industry Ministry says through its Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division that it's cautioning the public to avoid purchasing, get this, rice, flour, red kidney beans, or cornmeal from unverified sources. All things we're very familiar with: rice, flour, red kidney beans, or cornmeal from unverified sources. And this is after 4 40-foot containers, which were previously seized and stored in Portobello, Montego Bay for disposal, were found missing or compromised. And the division says the containers were discovered during inspection activities conducted in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa.
Well, listeners, the containers reportedly held rice, flour, and, as said, red kidney beans and cornmeal, all of which had been deemed unfit for human consumption. The ministry is urging members of the public to utilize caution when purchasing these items, as consumption of contaminated items pose a serious health risk. Well, we're now being joined by the Chief Food Storage Officer at the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division of the Ministry. That's Dr. Roy McNeil. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon, Sir Brooks, Sir Campbell, and good afternoon to your listeners.
There's a little disruption.
Yeah, the line's a little bad. Go again, Dr. McNeil.
I say good afternoon to Mr. Brooks and Mr. Campbell, and your listeners.
All right, just hold for us, Doc. We're gonna try to reconnect with you because the line is a bit bad. Obviously, Siobhan, this is concerning rice. Most people eat that every day.
That's rice
flour,
and peas.
yeah.
No flour dumpling, no cornmeal dumpling.
And for those of you who are probably wondering what red kidney beans are, that's a bean in the rice and peas. Right? That's the red peas we call it. Eh? The red peas, and of course cornmeal, something that we are all familiar with. So these are staples in the Jamaican diet, and hearing that it was essentially condemned as unsuited for human consumption, and then for some reason they were tampered with, broken into. It seemed it was found missing or compromised. Compromise, I imagine, means it was broken into.
Yes.
And you know what's going to happen now. These products are likely to get
into the market.
Onto the market. And for people who buy from the corner shops, you buy a pound of rice, 2 pounds of rice, them tie it out in a bag. So how do you know whether this was a part of the contaminated stock?
And this is not an insignificant amount for
4 containers. Yeah.
containers.
That's a lot. So it would be interesting to know how that happened. Dr. McNeil?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. All right. So let's start by asking, how did this happen that the containers were found to be, in your language, missing or compromised?
Okay, these containers have been retained for disposal and prior to the hurricane. And so after the hurricane, we did a post-inspection at the site where they were detained. Upon carrying out our inspection and investigation, we have found 2 of the containers, and there are 2 other containers that we are
could you repeat that, Doc? We didn't hear that last part clearly.
Okay.
You said you found 2 containers. Yes.
There were 4 40-foot containers.
Yes.
Containing rice, flour, cornmeal, red kidney beans. So once we detain a commodity, we usually do follow-up checks, and more so in a situation where we have had the hurricane. So we do post-inspection activities at the site where these containers were detained, and then we discovered that 2 containers were missing, as well as the other 2 that we are able to identify as being severely damaged. One of them.
No, I'm sorry, Doc. Do you have us on speaker or using a headset?
No, sir.
Okay.
Not on speaker, not using that.
All right, just hold again for us, please. I crave your indulgence, Doc. We're just trying to sort out the line because we want the listeners to hear, and it's a bit muffled as it is now. All right, so what he's essentially saying is that they were stored before the hurricane. They did their inspections. They were secured, and after the hurricane, having gone back to check, it was found that at least 2, I gather he was saying, were missing a 40-foot container.
That means someone took a truck to the location and removed the containers, because I can't imagine you could move a 40-foot container any other way. And 2 of them at that. I find it interesting that something that could happen. I suppose I can't say under the watchful eye, because I'm assuming everyone was battening down the hatches during the passage of the hurricane. But that's quite a daring thing to do.
Yeah, and it would be interesting to know why they were condemned in the first place. What was it about them that made the ministry think that they needed to be barred from public consumption? We're speaking with Dr. Roy McNeil. He's the Chief Food Storage Officer at the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division in the Industry Ministry. And what we're understanding, listeners, containers, 4 of them, 40-foot containers, that were seized and stored in Montego Bay for disposal. They contained rice, flour, red peas, and cornmeal, and all of that was deemed unsuitable, unfit for human consumption. Well, what they're reporting now is that at least 2 of them have gone missing and are compromised. So obviously the concern is that these items are going to find their way onto the market, and the ministry is warning people to be on the alert. But how are you going to be on the alert? Because I want to know, how would you know that the rice or the flour or the red peas or the cornmeal was deemed unfit for human consumption?
I hope, or I suspect at least, that they would have specific brands attached to them. Maybe
No, but
I
that's the
suppose
thing.
you don't want
in
to
some
actually-
instances,
Yes, it's really-
in the corner shop, you bag it out.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be branded at all. You just go and buy it in the plastic bag. So, I don't know. Do we have Dr. McNeil back yet? No, not yet. But obviously, very, very serious. We're going to take a break. We're trying to reconnect with Dr. Roy McNeil because we think this is important for you to hear, listeners, after the break.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy. New collaboration run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch.
The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa may have tested our strength, but it didn't take our spirit of solidarity, compassion, and resilience. With the support of local partners and the international community, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is standing with every family, rebuilding lives.
Our officers are on the ground assessing needs, offering relief. We are visiting every affected household in every community, because caring for our people is what we do best together.
For further information, call our Client Care Centre at 876-922-8013. Send us a WhatsApp message at 876-582-8972 or 876-849-8614 or email us at clientcare@mlss.gov.jm. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the People's Ministry, leaving no one behind.
They've lost homes.
Everything is gone. Have no house, have nothing.
They've lost power.
No water, no food, no light, no bed. Jamaican people need desperate help.
Some haven't heard a familiar voice in days.
The last thing I said to my sister, please be safe. And that was the last time.
For others, hope is starting to ebb. But together, we are rebuilding Jamaica, one parish at a time.
We have to try. We have to try. Can't give up.
Join Nationwide 90 FM from November 21 to December 19, every Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we broadcast live from Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, and St. Elizabeth, helping families and communities rebuild after Hurricane Melissa.
And you can help too.
Bring your donations, non-perishable food, water, hygiene products, lighting, or recovery supplies to our office at 14 Ocean Boulevard, the Digital Building, downtown Kingston.
Let's show the true strength of our nation: unity, compassion, and care. Together, we can rebuild lives and restore hope. Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Give us strength. Oh, never let I fail.
Protecting your personal data is a priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. We urge you to use the agency's official platforms to conduct your business. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 5:46.
We're back with you on Nationwide at 5. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
We have with us the Chief Food Storage Officer in the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division of the Industry Ministry. That's Dr. Roy McNeil. And the news is containers, 4 40-foot containers containing rice, flour, red peas, and cornmeal, all of which were deemed unfit for human consumption. At least 2 of those containers have gone missing and are compromised. So Dr. McNeil is bringing us up to speed. So Dr. McNeil?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you say 2 of them are missing, as in completely gone?
Yes, we are unable to locate 2 of the containers.
And
apparently, where the containers were, there's a river close by. We are seeing other containers in the river, But so far, we have not been able to identify the containers. So the entire area where the containers were.
So there is a possibility that the container simply washed away with the items?
That could be a possibility, not sure.
So this area that they are stored is not under surveillance?
Normally, no. It is being stored at the owner for the commodity. That's where the containers have been stored and they have been secured, sealed and locked.
And what was wrong with the rice, the flour, the red peas, and the cornmeal white was condemned in the first place?
The commodities were found to be heavily infested with weevils, and so they were deemed unfit for consumption in health services.
But Dr. McNeil, as you explained there, during these issues, when you find an item you've deemed unfit for human consumption, is it usually stored at the owner's facilities? Does the ministry not take charge of the items, so to speak, to ensure its security?
They are usually stored at the owner's premises under detention order, which prohibits the owners from interfering with the container.
And in this instant case, the owner of the container, did he give an account as to what potentially happened to the containers themselves?
No.
And so for the members of the public now, you're warning them to be aware. What would they be aware of? What should they look out for?
Well, for one thing, the commodities would have been wet to some extent. As I indicated before, that there's also a high level of weevil infestation. So they can be looking out, for example, for commodities with foul smell, like rice, a foul smell, once it's wet, there's a probability that it will start to break down. You may also see signs of weevil infestation in the other product. So those are some things that consumers can look out for if they can see any of these commodities that has any off smell, off odors, or obvious sign of, for example, clumping, where, for example, if you purchase rice, you'd see sections of it being clumping. That could be an indication that it has been wet. Or as I said before, you'll see obvious signs of there are dead insects in the commodity.
Yeah. And Siobhan asked about whether it was standard for the products to be kept at an owner's premises, and you said that they're under a detention order. The enforcement of that order, though, how does that work, Dr. McNeil?
Once the items are being detained, persons are prohibited to interfere with the containers. And they are sealed and they are padlocked. Our inspectors do regular visits to ensure that these containers remain where they are and that they will not be here.
And when you condemned these containers, when was the last time your officers visited to ensure that they were in fact there?
Well, we went there the 5th of November. Prior to that, before the hurricane, we also went there and they were still there.
What was that
when
date?
You say before the hurricane, yes. When was that?
So we went, I think it's about 3 days before the hurricane. We went and the containers were still there, not compromised, still were intact, padlocks were in place.
And you keep using the word compromised. Explain, what does that mean?
Compromise meaning that there was no obvious sign that anyone tried to break or tamper with the seal or the lock or tried to gain entry into the container.
And when you went after the hurricane on November 5th, you said?
Yes.
You found evidence that somebody had tried to tamper with the locks?
Yes.
And
we found evidence where one of the containers was open. It's obvious that they would have broken the lock, and so the container was open.
And then, go ahead, Jamal.
I have a quick follow-up question to that. In this circumstance, is the owner of the items liable when you have found evidence of tampering?
Well, it depends because one will have to prove who causes the tampering. Because tampering is not necessarily done by the owner to defend somebody. So if we can identify, which sometimes we will work closely with the owner, but under normal conditions, though, Ricardo, I must indicate that we don't usually have cases where containers are being declared and they have been tampered with. This could have been a situation, as you know, coming out of the hurricane and people looting and doing all sorts of different activities.
But Dr. McNeil, because it sounds that this is sort of just the enforcement comes down to a sort of gentleman's agreement. Because if it is that you say you don't, under normal circumstances, you don't normally have it. But considering that this amounts to a matter of public health, is it enough to just hope that the owners comply? And today is the 13th. When was the notice? You said you discovered the tampering on the 5th. When was the public first advised?
The public would have been first advised yesterday.
Yesterday. That's the 12th.
So nearly a week after the tampering had been found.
Yes, sir.
Well, why would that be, considering the urgency? I imagine you agree with us that it's urgent.
I agree with you. Certainly, we have tried to secure the containers, and also we were doing further investigation as to the whereabouts and what are the possible activities that could have led to the situation with the containers.
But even during those investigations, Doc, wouldn't it simply have just been a matter of prudent sense to immediately initiate a warning to the public that these items be on the lookout for the potential of these items making way into the market?
Yes, I would agree. I would agree that in hindsight, but there are certain protocols. There are, as I said, we're trying to do some investigation. And at the same time is that, not to create unnecessary panic, not an excuse, but just to say that we are going through the process and, having conversation and discussion and continuing to do the inspection, because we have officers on the ground that is monitoring the containers as they are now. That was one of the reasons that may have accounted for some level of the delay.
You say not to create unnecessary panic. Can you assure the Jamaican people that these products have not already gotten into the market?
Well, so far, what we have noticed, and at the time of when we noticed the containers being open, we have secured it, we have sealed it, and we have had our inspection on a daily basis, making checks on the containers.
But two are missing.
It is no further loss or removal of it.
But two are entirely missing, Doc. So I understand that you were securing the ones that were compromised, but two, do I understand you correctly, two are entirely missing?
Two are entirely missing, which we are currently still under investigation, trying to see if we can locate these containers, whether they are downstream or they are somewhere.
So,
not sure.
So the answer is you cannot confirm to the Jamaican people that these items are not already being sold.
I cannot confirm.
Doc, I want to take a step back for a second, because when was the initial order to essentially condemn these items given? Because you did a follow-up inspection on the 5th, but I'm assuming the order to condemn them was long before 2-3 days before the hurricane. When was the initial order for condemning these items provided?
Yes, the orders to condemn the item would have been about a month ago. But when an item is being condemned, it has to go through due process before you can dispose. So for example, the owner of their containers, if they are not satisfied or they have reason to believe that they want a review, the law provides an avenue for them to to seek redress or to appeal the decision of the district.
And was that done in this case?
We have to go through all that process before we can go to the ultimate of disposal.
And was that done in this case? Did the owner of the container seek redress, so to speak?
Yes.
And that delayed the condemning of the items, the disposal of the items?
That's correct.
The owners are Jamaicans?
Yes.
As in native-born Jamaicans?
Will you repeat?
Native-born Jamaicans?
I would want to think so, sir.
Okay. All right. So your final word to the Jamaican people this afternoon, Doc? What do you advise?
My final word to the Jamaican people is to exercise caution. Make sure that any food items that you purchase post-hurricane, that you do some simple basic food safety checks. Checks for smell, look for off odors, look for obvious signs of any discoloration, in lumping, clumping, looking out for store product pests if you see any parts of insects or other debris, physical contaminants, you name it, would be what I'd suggest to the consumer that they should be under the cover.
And if they do detect that this is being sold anywhere, what do they do?
And if they detect that, we ask them to call the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division, as well as they can report the matter to any of the public health office in the region, or they can also reach out to the Consumer Affairs Commission, which is a sister agency of this ministry.
Okay. Dr. Roy McNeil is the Chief Food Storage Officer in the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division in the Industry Ministry. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Again, the news. 4 40-foot containers previously seized and condemned containing rice, flour, red peas, and cornmeal. 2 are entirely missing. The government has no idea where they are at this hour. And the other 2 were found to be compromised. The locks were broken. And so you're being urged to be on the lookout. And you heard the signs that you're supposed to look for.
But Ricardo, what troubles me, I understand the due process and all, but under the exigent circumstances...
You would think it would be urgent.
Yes.
You would think so. You can be forgiven for thinking so. Yeah. That's the cover story. The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations. The hour was brought to you by the new Doritos Zinger from KFC. The delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy Zinger and Doritos. Also available in Barbecue Zinger, limited time only. KFC Doritos Zinger, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is...
6:01.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. The police are probing the double murder of a teacher and her daughter in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. They've been identified as a 29-year-old Tara Pinnock and 14-year-old Talia Pinnock. Miss Pinnock was a teacher at Bridgeport Primary in the parish. It's understood she has not been at school for the last 2 days. The school's principal reportedly became concerned and alerted the lawmen who went to Pinnock's home. The police forced their way inside the house, where the bodies of the two were found inside a bedroom. They were reportedly lying in pools of blood. It's understood they appeared to have been stabbed to death. Preliminary assessments put the damage caused by Hurricane Melissa to the country's road network at $35 billion. That's according to Works Minister Robert Morgan.
The cost preliminarily that we have seen in terms of damage to our road infrastructure is about $35 billion. But we have not yet completed our assessments, so we expect that that figure will increase over time.
That estimated $35 billion also includes the impact on drains, gullies, and key sections of the island's major corridors. Minister Morgan says the government has already started work to ensure relief efforts and aid can flow into heavily hit areas.
Immediately after the hurricane, we did our quick impact survey and found that 370 roads were essentially impacted, but we were able to clear most of them, about 85% of them, within 5 days. We prioritized routes that dealt with hospitals, airports, and would provide needed supplies to areas that were impacted. We also had a lot of coordination with ourselves and the ODPEM and focused on rapid clearing. Currently, last week we had about 61 roads that were blocked. Currently we have about 30, as you can see. The number increased from 370 the last time I presented to now it's 396 roads affected.
Robert Morgan, Works Minister. The damage to the National Water Commission NWC's operations due to Hurricane Melissa has exceeded $10 billion. Water Minister Matthew Samuda made the revelation at a media briefing on Thursday.
The impact to the National Water Commission's operations of Hurricane Melissa is indeed extensive. The disruptions, damage, indeed lost revenue, reduced collections, and cost of relief and restoration will exceed 10 billion Jamaican dollars.
The minister says the cabinet has been apprised of all of the issues. He says a restoration and relief plan has also been presented.
That plan includes clearing access to sites, temporary repairs to raw water, transmission and distribution pipelines, installation of standpipes in communities without electric power, trucking of water, both through the Water Commission's own trucks and through members of Parliament and indeed the municipalities, office building repairs, purchase and rental of standby generators. This first phase of our restoration plan will cost 3.25 billion Jamaican dollars. Over the coming 4 to 6 months, items that should not be procured in an emergency way will see the benefit of a $6.95 billion restoration plan, which will have layers of resilience to ensure that as we build back particularly stronger.
Matthew Samuda, Water Minister. As at Thursday, water has been restored to approximately 76% of affected NWC customers. Nearly 200,000 buildings sustained damage during Hurricane Melissa. That's according to the Director General at ODPEM, Commander Alvin Gale.
Approximately 960,000 buildings have been assessed. Of this total, some 191,000 buildings, or about 20% of those assessed, have sustained damage ranging from minor to severe. Within the subset, 146,000 structures, represent some 15% of those assessed, have experienced major to severe structural damage. These include cases of extensive roof or wall loss, and in some instances, total collapse. In the parishes of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. James, and Hanover, they continue to record the highest concentrations of damage, consistent with the storm's trajectory and the wind field data recorded during landfall.
Commander Gale presented the details at Thursday's media briefing. The Category 5 system has left more than 90,000 families homeless. He says the data from the assessment will be used to guide the National Recovery Framework.
The preliminary spatial data map shows dense clusters of destruction along the coastal and low-lying areas, particularly those in the agricultural and residential zones, where flooding and storm surges have compounded wind-related impacts. Structural damage patterns also suggest significant variation between parishes, with western parishes generally facing the brunt of the effects. The findings from the assessments are now being used to inform the National Framework for Recovery, including the prioritization of shelter, targeted material support, and the establishment of safe housing zones.
Commander Alvin Gale, the Director General at ODPEM. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Sports is next.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy delicious, crunchy. crunchy. New collaboration run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch.
The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
Attention Megamart Montego Bay team members. The Megamart family would like to know if you are safe and well. Please join us for an important meeting at Megamart Montego Bay on Friday, November 14, 2025 at 10 a.m. If you are a family member or friend of a Megamart Montego Bay team member, please help us in getting this message to them. Thank you and stay safe.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alwix Raby. We start with some track and field as Olympic organizers have come under fire after confirming that all 3 rounds of the women's 100 meters, preliminaries, semifinals and final will take place on the opening day of the 2028 Los Angeles Games. Traditionally, the men's and women's 100 meters events are spread across 2 days, giving athletes roughly 24 hours between heats and finals to recover. But in a move that officials say is designed to enhance the opening day's spectacle, World Athletics announced that the entire women's 100 meters competition will unfold on July 15, 2028. Under the revised schedule, preliminary and first round heats will take place during the morning session, while the semifinals and final will headline the evening program, effectively compressing what is usually a 2-day sprinting showcase into less than 12 hours. The decision has already sparked criticism from across the athletics community, with concerns centered on athletes' welfare and performance integrity. President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Christopher Samuda, is among the first to voice strong opposition.
We therefore must guard. We have to guard against money, putting on legs and racing to the finish line without a heart and conscience. It is Olympic Games, yes, but local organizing committees of the games and federations, international federations, are really the decision makers. And so the IOC may simply be at the table without a casting vote.
Jamaica, home to some of the world's fastest sprinters, including multiple Olympic champions, has long dominated the women's 100 meters, winning 4 of the last 5 100 Olympic gold. Samuda argues that the new format could unfairly disadvantage competitors by reducing the time available for physical and mental recovery between rounds.
The athlete must always be at center stage and not in the wings, awaiting commercial decisions that seemingly exploit their very talent in garnering ticket sales. We must be careful, very careful, that the humanity of sport is not lost in the commercialism of sport and the urge to satisfy fan engagement. The thrill of victory can still be secured, can still be guaranteed in allowing the status quo to remain instead of pursuing a course which safe sport advocates will tell you may result in the agony of injury. And if that injury is serious, it may very well result in the agony of defeat that sidelines a career in sport.
Christopher Samuda. Now to football, as Jamaica could seal a spot at next year's FIFA World Cup final in Port of Spain on Thursday when they face Trinidad and Tobago in a crucial CONCACAF qualifier at the Hazel Crawford Stadium starting at 7 p.m. Jamaica time. Jamaica leads the group with 9 points, while Trinidad are third with 5. A victory for the Reggae Boys and the defeat for Curacao in their game away to Bermuda will secure Jamaica only a second ever appearance at football's showpiece, following on their historic first qualification 28 years ago. Jamaica beat the Soca Warriors 2-0 in the reversed game of this fixture on September 9 in Kingston. It's a game the Jamaicans can afford to lose and still remain in contention for the World Cup, but coach Stephen McLaren is thinking much further ahead.
This is also a must-win game for us. You know, I know everyone looks at the points and things, but everywhere we go, we come to win, and so that's what we've been doing. We put a team out that we think can win the game, and we go for winning the game. But I've got to say, we've come across Trinidad and Tobago many times now, and they're improving every game. They're getting better and better. Been very unlucky, I thought, twice against Curacao. So we know this is not going to be easy.
Rico Henry of Premier League outfit Brentford has been called to the national team for the first time and says his integration with the rest of the squad has been ideal so far.
Everyone made me feel welcome, the manager, the players. I just can't wait to get started. Obviously training was good. Just looking forward to Trinidad, the game, and we need to, obviously get the win. So it's a big game for us, and looking forward to it.
Rico Henry. Curacao, who are second in the group on 8 points, will kick off against Bermuda also at 7 p.m. in Hamilton. Jamaica's starting lineup for tonight's game include Andre Blake in goal, Mason Holgate, Ethan Pinnock, Richard King, and Gregory Lee in defence. In midfield, Jonathan Russell, Isaac Hayden, and Bobby Reed, while up in front, Robaldo Cephas, Roman Burrell, and Damari Gray. Now, former Jamaica national senior football team coach Amir Hallgrimson steered the Republic of Ireland to one of their biggest football victories in years. On Thursday, they beat Portugal 2-0 at the Avia Arena in Dublin to keep their World Cup qualifying hopes alive. 23-year-old striker Troy Parrott got both goals for Ireland, who would have been out of World Cup contention with a defeat.
Drilled in around the back, Scales wins the header in! Troy Parrott lift off at the Aviva Stadium. That is a massive, massive goal. And no surprise, it is the man banging form, Troy Parrott, who's got it. The assist from Liam Scales. Beautiful delivery on the corner to the back post. Troy Parrott shifts it, gets his shot away! Troy Parrott on the double. And talk about the cat amongst the pigeons. This is dreamland for Ireland. We were hoping they might see it through to half-time 1-0. It is 2-0 and Troy Parrott strikes again.
Ireland are up to second in the group and it's now all to play for on Sunday's final day of qualifiers, where 3 teams, including Hungary, are in with a chance to book the lone automatic spot from the group. Meanwhile, France clinched their spot thanks to a flawless 4-0 win over Ukraine at the Parc des Princes with 2 goals from captain Kylian Mbappe. England, who had already secured qualification, maintained their 100% record with an easy 2-0 win over Serbia. Norway all but secured their place at the World Cup for the first time in 28 years, and after an Erling Haaland double helped them pass Estonia 4-0 to stay 3 points clear of Italy, who left it late before beating Moldova 2-0. Now, Chairman of Professional Football Jamaica Limited PFJL, Livingstone Morrison, says the decision to restart the Jamaica Premier League on December 7 was made after careful consideration of the psychological and emotional impact the Category 5 Hurricane Melissa had on players, coaches, and officials from the 14 participating clubs. Morrison explained that the PFJL met with representatives from all 14 clubs to assess their readiness to return to the competition. He revealed that 12 clubs indicated they would be prepared to restart within 2 weeks, while Montego Bay United and Treasure Beach FC, both based in the island's western region, requested additional time due to the severe damage their communities sustained.
We have to think about the psychological effect, not only training and stuff, right? So I heard from most of the club, I think 12 of the 14 clubs were there. One of the things that really jumped out at me, coming from this end of the island, was that all the clubs, with the exception of Montego Bay United and Treasure Beach, would have been ready to play within 2 weeks. All of them said that, okay, they were not severely impacted, so they would be ready. They could be ready in another 2 weeks. But of course, we had to give consideration to Treasure Beach and Montego Bay United after listening to both of them, and they said that they'll be in a situation to be ready within the next 4 weeks.
He added that the league's organizers are working closely with the Jamaica Football Federation and the local authorities to ensure facilities are properly restored and that teams from affected areas receive the necessary support.
They are fully supported even by the other clubs within the meeting. I think there's some amount of outreach to them. Of course, the JFF will have to play their part and the PFJ, but of course they'll be assisted, and we just wish them all the best and hope that they'll be ready, because we want to move forward, and if the football is not being played, the support is not going to be forthcoming.
Livingstone Morrison. Meanwhile, due to the damage caused by the hurricane to their stadium and the players' house, members of the Montego Bay United team have moved into Kingston and are now housed temporarily at the Captain Burrell Centre of Excellence at UWI. Now to cricket, as captain, Shea Hope says poor use of the batting power play was the main reason for the West Indies' 8-wicket defeat to New Zealand in the 50-20 International in Dunedin on Thursday. The victory gave the Kiwis a 3-1 series win. Batting first, the Windies were bowled out for 140, with the top order once again failing to build a solid platform. In reply, the hosts cruised to 141 for 2, led by Devon Conway's unbeaten 47 and Tim Robinson's 45. Hope admitted that the team's batting approach in the early overs need improvement.
Power play has been our Achilles heel for this series. Unfortunately, as batters, we didn't assess and adapt it as quickly as we should have, or wanted to, I should say. But credit still must be given to the guys in the lower half. Putting their hands up may have given them a bit too much work to do in the back end, batters, but it's certainly an area that we need to improve quickly going into this ODI series as well. Take all the learnings that we could have gained from this series, whether it's the lengths that they bowl, the conditions that we've got to face.
As the Caribbean men look ahead to the ODI series, Hope says he has identified areas that the team needs to improve.
We just need to be a little bit more precise with our stroke play. It's important to not allow good bowlers to settle as well. It's something that we need to fix pretty quickly. A lot of times we find ourselves in tough situations, 2, 3, 4 down sometimes in the power play when guys are hitting the straps. So we got to find ways to stop them from getting into rhythm and putting more pressure back on them. And not necessarily forcing the issue, but not making it easy for them to settle.
Shea Hope. Now, final in basketball, head coach of Jamaica's senior women's basketball team, O'Neill Brown, says the team will use today's rest day to fine-tune their preparation for Friday's crucial clash against the Bahamas at the Caribbean Women's Basketball Championships being held at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall in Georgetown, Guyana. With no matches scheduled today, Brown emphasized that recovery and focused preparation will be key ahead of the encounter with the Bahamas.
Bahamas, we have done a scouting report on them. We watched them last night and we have a day off, very importantly. The Bahamas team will play 3 days in a row. They played last night and they're going to play today and they're going to play us tomorrow. I think that works in our favor because we are rested today and can properly plan for them.
The Jamaicans made an emphatic start to their campaign on Wednesday, storming past Suriname with a commanding 86-47 victory. Brown says that performance not only boosted the team's confidence, but also gave him the opportunity to manage his squad effectively.
I'm glad yesterday the younger players got the experience, to play, because that will help us to strengthen our bench. In camp, everybody is up to the task. And we have 2 days to prepare for Bahamas. So, our chances to beat Bahamas are great.
O'Neill Brown. I'm Alric Swiby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa may have tested our strength, but it didn't take our spirit of solidarity, compassion, and resilience. With the support of local partners and the international community, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is standing with every family, rebuilding lives.
Our officers are on the ground assessing needs, offering relief. We are visiting every affected household in every community, because caring for our people is what we do best together.
For further information, call our Client Care Centre at 876-922-8013. Send us a WhatsApp message at 876-582-8972 or 876-849-8614 or email us at clientcare@mlss.gov.jm. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the People's Ministry, leaving no one behind.
For over 30 years, Chris and Charles has been financing your goals, dreams, creating your great moments. Celebrate the occasion with us.
Borrow $1 million, pay less than $25,000 monthly, and get 30% off your processing fees. No guarantor needed. Call 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams, a special one to our friends on our YouTube platform. It's Ben Johnson Day, so YouTubers, feel free. We invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. It's the day before Friday, and we love our Fridays. But let's get to it. In the days since Hurricane Melissa, we have been feeling the pinch, not just from damaged homes and blocked roads, but also at the food stalls and market tables. Yeah, from vegetables to ground provisions to everyday essentials. Many shoppers say the costs have jumped overnight, give and take. So we want to know from you, members of the public, what are some of the most shocking food prices you're seeing in the markets? And I'll start it off. Scallion, which is $1,000 a pound. That is shocking for me. That is shocking. That's one of the most shocking ones for me. So I want for our YouTubers to let me know in the comment section, yes, what are some of the most shocking food prices you're seeing in the markets? I'll start also with the comments on our Facebook platform where Audley Phillip is saying that he wanted lettuce and had to settle for imported iceberg lettuce as there was no local lettuce, and the lettuce was for $1,800 per head. Yeah? $1,800 per head. Wow. Philip Jackson is saying, we always seek to make money on other people's misfortune, and he's questioning why. Never hit a man when he's on his back. But this world has sources, good and evil. Two sources, and he says those are good and evil, and they both will be with us until such time. Choose your payday is coming, good or evil, and he's saying they will both pay hefty prices. Donovan Smith is saying lettuce, sweet peppers, and tomatoes. Well, me a girl when I really like tomato, so yeah. But the lettuce and the scallion, we can't do it without the scallion, especially if we're going at the rice and peas and such. Robert Ranger is saying $5 a pound for yellow yam on Wednesday, the 29th of October, 2025. $5 a pound for yellow yam. My girl, when I really like yam either, so. Wow. And Rosemary is saying market carrot for $800 a pound. Carrot, it always depend on the expensive side, so, can't really expect any different. But the scallion beat me for $6. Scallion beat me for $6 for $1,000 a pound. And when I went to purchase conch soup, because I have a lady when I purchase conch soup from, guys, and she added $100 upon the soup because she said $1,000. How much she said? She used to pay $150 for a pound of okra. Now $1,000 she pay for okra, and I'm like, so that means me have to go start pay more for my conch soup. Oh boy! All right, so let me see. Dre Views is saying scallion for $1,000 a pound. He will do without that. Okay. Dwight Bonner says scallion $1,200 a pound. Green bananas $500 a dozen. Wow. MDL is saying, I don't understand how someone can exploit their own. Some just have no conscience. Yeah, Janet is encouraging us to go buy a pack of seed and plant on our own. $400 a pack, so the seed work out better. That's what you're saying, Janet? Salt fish, $1,200 per pound from $800. Well, me a girl when I really eat salt fish. I'm just saying, all these things that are skyrocketing, Seem like me not eat them. But let's go. News commentator says every single thing gone skyrocket. So rice and flour and no seasoned meat until next year. Then what are going to do with the meat? Them no seasoned meat? Okay. Callaloo 400 a bundle. 400 a bundle for Callaloo, says Pat. By quarter pound, as easy as that. I think you're referring to the scallion. One sweet pepper, Chinbella says, is for $600. Yeah? And Rasta Picnic, I say 500 per dozen for okra. Yes, dozen. News commentator Robbie a man charge me 1,200. 1,200 at which part I market you go figure get that? News commentator? Oh boy. Let me see if I can get in some more. Evu, a news commentator, is asking, is what Robbie eat? I don't eat saltfish. They eat yam. MDL is questioning, what is my diet like? Double is saying, there are so many things that you don't eat. Seems... Okay, guys. Make fun of Robbie. And Herman Hyatt is saying, I can sell you some vegetables. What you're not saying, Herman? You have to come down at 14 Ocean Boulevard. Yeah? Janet is saying, most of what y'all complaining about, you can plant it too. Yeah? You can plant it. Sharon Bless says, Scallion, yes, it dear bud and carrot too. Yeah, dear bud. So all them people there, well, love no carrot juice. I love carrot juice as well. Carrot and beetroot. Nice piece of something that. But yeah, I can't imagine beetroot now. What's the price for that? Let me see. Hurricane price, them say. Yeah. Colleen is saying scallion in Portland is $1,002 per pound. Good thing when it was plenty, I blend up a lot and store in refrigerator. And somebody gave us that brilliant idea of blending up the seasoning them and put vinegar upon them, and it will serve. Put it on the fridge, blend up the seasoning them, yeah? All those family members who are going to come over for Christmas dinner and them something there, blend up the seasoning them and put vinegar on it. Josephine is saying carrot $500, ginger $600. Then me know say them have the ginger extract in a buckle, you know, that I forgot to do it. Good thing that I forgot to do it, the ginger extract. Yam is the CEO for the bank and tomatoes wearing suit and Clark, says Josephine. What you're not saying? Edgar is saying, and when you take everything into consideration, all grown in Jamaica and sold by Jamaican to Jamaicans. Jacqueline is saying that she recalls the days when $2,000 could have go market. No. No more time that not happen now, Jacqueline. You go market with $2,000, you come back with two dege little stinting. Leroy is saying tomato from 150 to 550, sweet pepper from 345 to 1,300. And scallion from $250 to $900. Wow. News commentator says, I don't go market, Robbie, so I buy from those with the little vans. You and I both. So, you know, so we are get the prices them where they went to the market, came back with their van and goods, and we have to pay. We have to pay for transport and everything. Sweet pepper sky high between $1,500 and $2,000 a pound, says Crazy Duck. How comes you don't eat saltfish? Well, where did you grow up in Jamaica? Well, that's for another conversation. Yeah? Let me see. Ginger extract weak, says Merlin P. But if you can manage it, and then you could have see where you get for the pound. One big, you know, so them have some ginger where big like my hand. Them have some ginger where big like my hand. I could that you get for the pound. Dreview say Christmas dinner table looks scanty. Yeah? It looks scanty. Pat is saying, let me see, 2 sweet pepper, hot pepper, and cut cucumber in pickle, and put cucumber in the pickle. Karen is saying that she blends scallion, thyme, ginger, onion, pimento seed, and add some vinegar, and that's it. That we have to go do enough for the Christmas. That's what we're going to have to do. We're definitely going to have to do that. Herman is saying we need to make a backyard garden. Yeah? Or in little pots. Yeah. We need to do that. Jerry Maxwell is saying those who can't do without the expensive food, Let them bite. I'm not a farmer, but I will eat rice, cornmeal, and other cheap food until things get better. Those langot. Okay, all right. I get your point, Jerry Maxwell. I get your point. But yeah, eat what you grow and grow what you eat. Yeah, it's just about that right now. They sell the ginger with the dirt to add to the weight, says Merlene P. You have a point, you know. You have a point. Because when you look upon them ginger, they look like them did go war. Oh my. Sharon is saying, we just get back nationwide. Can you check out the price per pound for sorrel? Oh boy, the sorrel price, it's a Christmas time, sorrel price always go up. So you can just brace for the prices. Carlene is saying, I love to cook with carrot in the market. I bought it for $400 per pound. So I don't know the van man, so I go sell it for $6 per pound and up. What to do? There is powdered ginger, says Valentina. Yeah? Also, they're backing the scale, so you're not getting the right weight, says Pat. Plant. We live in hurricane flood zones. The amount of things planted my house in Portmore. I used to carry food from my house to my mother, neighbors, and others. Guys, let us do what we can while we can. And until then, we'll see you again. The Business Report is up next. Thank you so much for your participation.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robian Williams. Sagicor Group Jamaica is reporting net profit attributable to stockholders of $13.22 billion for the 9-month period that ended September 30, 2025. Now, this was twice the $6.61 billion earned for the same period in 2024. The group says this performance reflects solid growth across all major business lines and a rebound in its asset portfolio, which recorded higher realized and unrealized gains compared to last year. Now, the company says it's mindful of the adverse impact of Hurricane Melissa on its team members, clients, the business, and the Jamaican economy in general. In response, $200 million has been committed through Sagicor Foundation towards recovery efforts, including $40 million in direct relief for affected team members and their families. Meanwhile, Sagicor's insurance revenue increased by $4.61 billion, or 12% year over year, driven by continued growth in both the long-term and short-term insurance portfolios. Further afield, California is revoking 17,000 commercial driver's licenses after an audit found they were given to thousands of immigrants who are now no longer legally allowed in the U.S. The Department of Transportation said California officials confirmed that they illegally issued those licenses to dangerous foreign drivers, and the holders were notified their licenses will expire in 60 days. In August, a truck driver who was not in the U.S. legally killed 3 people in Florida. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 39 cents to buy $1 US, 212 Jamaican dollars and 49 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 115 Jamaican dollars and 26 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robian Williams. Good evening.
Every school is free of unhealthy, ultra-processed products. You know, those high in salt, fats, and sugar. If only that weren't a dream. The reality is that many children have an unhealthy diet at school, and 23% of them are overweight or obese. This can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Let's protect our children's right to health with a policy for schools that prevents unhealthy food marketing and ensures access to nutritious foods. The time is now. Let's implement the National School Nutrition Policy. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Attention Megamart Montego Bay team members. The Megamart family would like to know if you are safe and well. Please join us for an important meeting at Megamart Montego Bay on Friday, November 14, 2025 at 10 a.m. If you are a family member or friend of a Megamart Montego Bay team member, please help us in getting this message to them. Thank you and stay safe.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere, spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link?
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide this morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we are all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads Podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Good afternoon, well, good evening rather, listeners and viewers. Welcome back. It is time for the nation's business. I'm Siobhan Campbell. I'll soon be joined by Ricardo Brooks, but we turn to Hurricane Melissa relief matters, more on the lines of accountability, where representatives from several quarters have called for the establishment of a national task force or committees to ensure transparency and accountability in managing recovery and relief efforts following Hurricane Melissa. The Auditor General's Department has announced that it will conduct a real-time audit of the efforts. The government support portal, supportjamaica.gov.jm, continues to serve as the central hub for donations and volunteer registration. According to the AG's department, the audit aims to assess transparency, accountability, and the adequacy of internal controls to prevent fraud, waste, or abuse of public resources. A joint select committee was also announced by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness last week as a means of providing parliamentary oversight for Hurricane Melissa-related measures. Well, for more on accountability mechanisms for the relief efforts, we are being joined by the Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, Commander Alvin Gale. Good evening, Commander.
Good evening to you and your listeners.
Good evening to you as well. It's good to have you on. So, please, Commander Gale, all eyes are on ODPEM in terms of managing the relief effort. Heavy burden put on your shoulders. What are the measures you currently have in place to ensure that the goods as they come in go to where they are needed to be and account for the fact that they got there in the first place?
Well, to your listeners, we're in the process now of delivering upon a disaster relief inventory management system. We already have the first iteration of that system going. So it monitors intake, outputs, also look at reorder levels so that we can ensure all products come in. We know where they go. We're also assessing on the daily basis where exactly does the need to go. So upon request from varying entities, there has to be an assessment made internally at the ODPEM and to the other MDAs as part of the Humanitarian Committee of Council, which then will determine the need based on routine assessments. So that is one part of the managerial system that we applied directly to the delivery of items in the relief process.
Before you continue, you said that system is being worked on, or is that system in place?
So we have an inventory management system going, but we are developing a much more robust system that's being developed now to be delivered on early next week.
Okay. Commander Gale? Until Ricardo is able to speak, just a continuation of that discussion. In this inventory management system, you have the ability to track in real time and to ensure that the products, as you ship them out, reach the destination. Is there an accountability system in place where it must be signed for to ensure that it reached where it was supposed to?
So the usual mechanisms concerning the receipt signatures on request, those are in place for the manual system that is there now. The newer system to be delivered will be much more automated and requires particular access to authorize the issue of certain items. So what we have set up now in terms of warehousing, the Jamaica Defence Force is on our behalf hosting those large ODPEM hubs. There are secondary hubs to that, which they also host for us. The request will come in, and the JDF members themselves, along with persons from the MLSS, will carry the last mile portion of the deliveries. There is no requirement now for the persons in receipt to be signing on it. But once it leaves the JDF system, we know exactly the communities they're going into by numbers, and all of that is recorded from the last mile right back into where they entered into the country, into those large warehouses.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And Commander Gale, I understand from those who are criticizing the existing systems that the concern is how do we ensure that once they get, for example, as you say, to the containers or the warehouses, that they're actually getting into the hands of the people who need the assistance and are not being somehow rerouted elsewhere. Could you guide us through that?
Well, as indicated, a lot of the assessments are being done in terms of the need. There's a committee of council that treats it, looking at where the need is, and then through a mechanism, we determine the areas of greatest need. The delivery at the last mile is being done through the JDF. I believe we can count on our partners there to ensure that if we have determined a particular area to be served, the item will get there. We're also employing some technologies concerning geotagging that will come into our back-end mechanism at the ADPEM, so we can actually see where items have been delivered. So that system is in place, and we are issuing the relevant codes to the persons who are committing on the last mile deliveries.
Yeah. Would you support, Commander, the call for establishing, perhaps online on a website, a real-time tracking? So obviously the goods are distributed, and that website would reflect where things are going. Where in the parish of St. Elizabeth, for example, you've been able to tell us, for example, how many flight hours have been done. Would you support putting that kind of thing online, perhaps on a website, so that people can access it?
Well, I did promise at a press conference earlier on this week that what we'll be doing is starting to publish the areas of greatest need, and also on the daily basis or distribution plan. I'm to have a further meeting later on this evening with the team, the development team. We've hit some snags in terms of the look and feel of the portal, but that will come online. So I'm in support of it to the extent that the public will know where the areas of priorities are based on our assessments.
Yes.
And they'll also have a very good idea of our delivery or distribution plan rather. What I'll indicate is that we'll see it updated throughout the day, but we must be reminded that as needs come in, the delivery schedule that have been set from the night before may change throughout the day.
Yes.
As the needs come in. So I'm in support of it to the extent we have something ready for the public, but I want it to be fit for purpose.
And that's
so
fair.
we can.
Yes, I think that's fair. Right. Supportjamaica.gov.jm. So we've been hearing the amounts that are coming in terms of the donations. In terms of that cash component, is that managed by ADPEM or is that then sent to the consolidated fund? How does that work?
So there is another committee of council, the financial committee, that treats with how the
And sorry, when you say council, you mean the cabinet?
No. So under the Disaster Act, and there are some councils based on various subsets of how we treat a disaster. So, for example, the Humanitarian Assistance Council, committee rather, and there's one that treats with financing. As it is now, once that committee gets set up, we'll have to put the request through them, and then the request then goes back to the Ministry of Finance, having assessed the need, having recommended what should be done about it, and then the drawdowns are authorized through the Ministry of Finance, wherein then the ADPEM or any such designated ministry would spend those funds.
Okay, so that's an important point. So ADPEM then, as a freestanding situation, does not just go in and spend the money from Support Jamaica Go. All right, so I'm going to ask you to repeat that again for me, Commander, that process, because that's important.
So the financial committee has oversight of those funds held in accounts. Once we are able to put together the needs assessment, put together the relevant recommendations, we then apply through that committee to the Ministry of Finance, who then authorizes the drawdown from the relevant accounts, and then it's thereafter that we apply the funding to treat with the relief matters. So in no case is the ADPEM on its own volition spending GOJ funds.
Understood. So tell us, Commander, in terms of that needs assessment, is that independently conducted by ADPEM or is there an input from the political directorate?
The assessments are conducted by the ADPEM, Ministry of Local Government, and the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. So it's a coordinated effort across a number of NDAs. That's how we treat it. We have a sit. We look down on it from the Humanitarian Assistance Committee. We look at other inputs in terms of needs from on the ground.
Commander Gale?
It seems you lost him.
Oh dear, it seems so.
Yeah, all right, let's
We'll
try
to get him back.
reconnect. Commander Alvin Gale is the new Director General of ODPIM, giving us important bits of information, Siobhan, in terms of how this entire relief coordination is working, giving us some insights into how, for example, ODPIM is able to access money to spend, because I have seen things online that ODPIM just has access to the money from supportjamaica.gov and there's no oversight. You heard the commander explaining the steps to be taken. He says he supports the real-time tracking of how aid is being distributed, and he supports it and wants to give that to the public insofar as it's accessible and it's a portal that will be fit for purpose. He says he supports that.
Yeah, and I'm happy to hear that ODPIM seems to be on top of this matter in terms of ensuring the supplies are properly coordinated and the relief effort is not tampered with or otherwise derailed through some unnecessary corruption, as suggested by many. And it seems quite clear that this is why we have ODPIM, because this was the creation and reasoning behind ODPIM in terms of disaster risk management and response. So I'm happy to hear that it seems ODPIM is functioning as it should. So, Commander, I understand we have you back?
Yes, I'm back with you.
So the needs assessment, you said that it's conducted in coordination with the various NDAs and government ministries. But what I'm trying to get at, is this a technocrat-driven coordinated effort, or is there an input from, say, the political directors, as I put it, the MPs, the councillors?
No. This is done by technical people. We meet at the technical level, determine where the need is, and then we apply the relief aid as required.
Yeah. Commander, there has been talk that the government should not be stressing that this has been a Category 5 hurricane, that the government really should just get on with it, yeah? And in your professional experience, and I did have a look at your CV and your qualifications as put out by the Office of the Prime Minister, talk Jamaicans through the scale and magnitude of what you're seeing in terms of what this requires from a logistical and coordination perspective.
A Category 5 hurricane is a phenomenon in and of itself. Not much by the way of the natural environment will stand up to it. Jamaica is a fairly large island in the grand scheme of things. If we should consider the Category 5 hurricanes that would have affected the Eastern Caribbean, the Bahamas, and then we compare those islands to even a parish in Jamaica, and we determine then that there was a significant area on those smaller islands affected. Consider how large Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, St. Elizabeth are compared to those islands. Some of these islands have mass populations of, under 250,000 people. A large area in Jamaica was significantly impacted by a Category 5 hurricane. JPS has lost a lot of their main transmission towers. There was a lot of land slippage, a lot of roadworks were damaged across a significant area of Jamaica. The logistical requirements behind it are significant. The ODPIM, no ministry has that significant workforce standing by, sat down, of trained professionals, trained logisticians to, in case of an event, get up and go and do this large work. Hence why we've had to bring in the JDF to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. I give you the example of the JPS. They would have had to bring in some well over 300 additional linesmen to treat with the emergency. It is a massive operation. The scale of destruction will cause for us to be doing work long term to get back to where we were before the event. Nature will repair itself, but the infrastructure damage, the loss of or agricultural produce, farmland damaged, livestock gone, those will take a good while to come back. It is indeed a large effect on Jamaica.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So tell us, Commander, you say that the JDF is doing a lot of the heavy lifting on the ground. Can you explain to us how the two command structures are now enmeshed, so to speak, to ensure the proper coordination?
Enmeshing between the two organizations. So the Jamaica Defence Force has organically to it DARTs, and those teams are specifically trained and allocated for this type of duty. There are about 3 teams set up, so they will crack on with doing a lot of the relief work, the repair work, clearing roads and so on for us naturally. When we realized that this category of hurricane was coming, it was foresight that we determined then we would need to have this large outset. The persons on the ground, they don't report to me, but it's a very direct working relationship wherein they are controlling ODPEM mechanisms. There's a back briefing mechanism that they will tell us what is happening on the ground. We'll do an assessment. We will then coordinate the effort. So whenever information comes back in, it's a coordinated assessment between both parties and also the other ministries and agencies who have responsibility within the disaster framework. And then the ODPEM, based on the national system, it will then direct the effort. Mm-hmm. So they all fall under that umbrella as we speak.
Commander, as you have found it, is ODPEM properly staffed now and up to the challenge of what we're facing?
Well, what I say is that the overview is underway, and to the extent that, based on the scale of the current disaster, that we need extra staffing, we've been able to rely on our partners, for example, SEDEMA, to bring in other technical experts to assist in the recovery and efforts, or lean heavily on, for example, the JDF to treat it or logistics. This is a large operation. ODPEM would not have had the resources sitting around, and that is why these systems exist within government and within CARICOM, so we can call on the CDMOs, call on the JDFs. We can also lean on the Ministry of Local Government. We can lean on the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. And if required, we can make recommendations to lean on other government agencies. The Jamaica Fire Brigade, for example, has been doing our land search and rescue for us. They've been ingrained with the search and rescue teams from abroad. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has been doing August work for the ODPEM as well. So it's an all-government approach, and that's where I would leave it for now.
And outside of the manpower requirements, in terms of resources, is there anything ODPEM is finding in short supply now that they need to get out in terms of critical aid, such as roofing materials, shelter items for sheltering, or are we at least properly stocked up on those items? I understand this is going to be a long-term relief effort and you're going to need more things as time goes on, but as things stand now, in terms of the relief supplies, are we sustainable?
At the instant moment, I would say we are sustainable, but then we can understand there'll always be priority items, your usual food items, your usual shelter items. So those will be, for us, great priorities as we start to shift into more of a recovery phase. But we are sustainable levels.
Mm-hmm. So, final question, Commander. How difficult was it for you to accept this assignment from being an army man, probably not, very front-facing, to now being essentially the face of the government's disaster response mechanism? How difficult was that when you got that call from the Prime Minister?
It would have been I had a thought about it, but then there's also the requirement for duty, and I say it is with much humility and a sense of duty that I've taken this on. It is indeed a huge task. Lots of work to be done. The Jamaican people are depending on the ODPEM to lead us through this time. So the commitment here is for us to work through it to the end. At the end of it, I guess I'll have some time to reflect, and hopefully I'll have made an impact through this particular disaster.
And just to add to that question, are you finding the transition from a military posting to a civilian one a bit of a culture shock?
I wouldn't say a culture shock. Having served over 2 decades, it wouldn't have been my first great interaction with civilian service persons. So it's not new, it's different. But we can adapt readily. We are trained and studied in ways to move the systems along.
Yeah. Commander Alvin Gale is the new Director General of ODPIM. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. It's 3 minutes after 7, and Jamaica has what's unfolding now, a date with destiny.
Yes, it would seem.
Seeking to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. And of course, if that happens, it would be such a moral boost for the country. They're playing Trinidad and Tobago in Port of Spain. Bugs, you can find that song from the 1997 campaign. I like that song, you know. It was 98. Find it for me, no?
The Road to France.
All right. So after the break, we'll play that for you. And then we'll go to our sports editor, Wayne Walker.
The Pink Run, a corporate wellness challenge, encourages physical activity, healthy eating, and age-appropriate health checks. Remember, early detection saves lives. The time by the Ministry of Health and Wellness is...
It's 4 minutes past 7.
It's Monday. Get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honeybee.
And Karim Boyatings.
From 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you say?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Oh, so rising higher, higher.
Giving up is the only crime. Jamaica could seal a spot at next year's FIFA World Cup final in Port of Spain tonight when they face Trinidad and Tobago in a crucial CONCACAF qualifier at the Hazley Crawford Stadium. It starts at 7 p.m. Jamaica time, so it should have gotten underway 8 minutes ago. Jamaica leads the group with 9 points, while Trinidad are third with 5.
A victory for the Reggae Boys and a defeat for Curacao in their away game at Bermuda tomorrow will secure Jamaica only a second ever appearance at the World Cup, following on their historic first qualification 28 years ago. Jamaica beat the Soca Warriors 2-0 in the reverse game of this fixture on September 9 in Kingston. Well, to discuss this now, we're joined by Nationwide's own sports editor, Wayne Walker. Good evening, Wayne.
Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Siobhan.
All right, first of all, Wayne, what are the chances the boys prevail tonight?
Oh, there's a very good chance. I mean, their record against Trinidad and Tobago is very good. I think they've got an 85% success rate against Trinidad and Tobago, home or away. And so, given that record, you have to assume that, with so much at stake and so close to the World Cup within touching distance, you'd want to think that they have every opportunity of doing so. The thing is, even if they win tonight, they still need a result in Hamilton, because the game between Curacao and the Bahamas kicked off a short time ago as well. They kicked off simultaneously, so no one can affect the result in terms of, sort of setting things up, because the Bermuda, I should say, I think it's the Bahamas, it's Bermuda in Hamilton. And so Bermuda, they are pretty much out of contention for the World Cup, so they've got very little to play for except for pride. And beating Curacao is a big ask. But it's football, and you just never know. That's the reason why we play the game, because we don't know the outcome before. And so, if Jamaica wins tonight and Curacao is beaten, then the place in the World Cup will be sealed tonight. However, Jamaica can afford a defeat, given the strength that they hold in the group. They can lose tonight and still have their destiny in their own hands, because if they lose tonight, all they have to do to get to the World Cup is to beat Curacao in Kingston next week, Tuesday night, irrespective of any other results anywhere else. All they have to do, beat Curacao in Kingston on Tuesday night, and they're into the World Cup. But it can be done tonight if they win and Curacao lose their game. So while we're watching Jamaica, Trinidad, and Tobago, and I just got sighting of the Hazley Crawford Stadium. It's a stadium that I've visited countless times for terrific games, for cricket, for football, and I know how raucous the Trinidad and Tobago support can be. I mean, they're more nationalistic in my view than anybody else in the Caribbean. When they support the Trinidadian, they do. And I got sighting of the Hazley Crawford Stadium a short time ago. There was a sea of red, black, and white. They're out tonight and they're sniffing blood. Let's see how it goes. I am about 5 minutes away from the most comfortable living room in all of Kingston, possibly Jamaica, and so I'll be watching from there. And of course, keeping it there.
So tell me, Wayne, because we had a little bit of a discussion earlier, and as always, I always try to go with the least realist. Well, I'm a realist at heart, and I try to go with the most negative outcome possibly first. As you put it, if we lose against Trinidad tonight, heaven forbid, we still have a shot come Wednesday. What is the pathway? What is the pathway to the World Cup in terms of for Jamaica, and what is the result in terms of what would happen? Or let me phrase it again. What is the outcome that would deny us entry to the World Cup at this point?
Lose both games. Simple.
So to lose both games, that is the shutdown point.
Tonight and Tuesday will lose out. As simple as that.
And if we win tonight and lose against Curacao tomorrow, that still puts us on track?
No. So if we win tonight, we go to 12 points.
Yes.
If Curacao win tonight, if they win, they go to 11 because they now have 8. So you'll have a situation where Jamaica has 12, Curacao 11. So if Curacao comes into Kingston next week and beat Jamaica, then they'll move to 14 points, and Jamaica would remain on 12. That would mean Jamaica will be out. The safest and clearest pathway for Jamaica to get to the World Cup, even as we speak, is to beat Curacao. Any other result against anybody else we play would be irrelevant, including tonight.
Yeah.
And what's our record against Curacao in terms of performance?
We played them very little times because Curacao is not one of those powerhouses that we play on a regular basis. In fact, Jamaica has lost one game so far in the qualifying cycle. And it was against Curacao in Capital City, Wilmington. They lost by 2-0. And if they had won that game, they would have been in the World Cup already. They would have been qualified for the World Cup already, even before kicking a ball in anger against Trinidad tonight. So while we look ahead to that Curacao game, let's focus on tonight, because the lot can happen tonight that could make Tuesday irrelevant in Kingston, even though it would be a travesty, because the build-up to Tuesday night is already underway, and you just get the impression that if Jamaica needs a result against Curacao in Kingston next week, the city's going to come to a standstill very early in the afternoon, heading up to Independence Park. But let's focus on tonight and see what they're doing for the change.
Yeah, and let me ask you how you assess the strength of the starting lineup for tonight's game.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because I was just talking to my colleague Alex Swady, and we're discussing the starting lineup. If you could just give me a few, I might coming across a little mushy at the moment, but I'm just trying to bring the lineup.
Jamali Wade, Greg Lade.
It's almost like you're losing me, and I tried to get the 11 for you. So I switched over, and it's...
Yes. Okay. So like we're all right. So while you pull that up, Jamali Wade.
Yes. The 11, in comparison, you hear me clearly, are you?
Yes, we're hearing you now.
So in comparison to the other three teams in the group, Jamaica is not just the most established or have the more established players. They are by miles. They're players who can trade in. They are arguably the greatest league in the world, the English Premier League. There are quite a few of them playing in Major League Soccer in the USA. So there's no question about which of the four teams in the group possess the greatest array of talent, Jamaica by a mile. And so whichever 11 they pick, oftentimes or all the time, are better than the opposition, which is why a lot of people were surprised when we lost the Curacao. And a lot of people are surprised that after 4 rounds of games, Jamaica are not getting to the World Cup finals. So good and so strong is the team comparatively speaking. So yeah, anytime Jamaica is going to pick an 11 to play against any one of these two teams or three teams, it's always going to be stronger. Yeah. It's about going out and executing and doing the right thing.
All right. Wayne Walker on his way to the most comfortable living room, he says, in Jamaica, and he'll keep us posted. Jamaica facing off with Trinidad and Tobago in Port of Spain, Trinidad. Thank you so much, Wayne.
All right. We Jamaicans always have to be dramatic, nail biter to the end. Well, we'll see coming 2 days or so whether we go on to that stage again after 28 years.
We had a holiday the last time that happened.
Yes, he declared it a public holiday. Controversial public holiday.
Is that when he said the law is not a shackle but a tool of social engineering or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah. Well, Prime Minister Holness, we could do with a holiday.
I don't know, but
I
think under the circumstances, trip to the World Cup for Jamaica is just the morale booster I think the country needs.
Yeah, it would lift our spirits, yeah? All right, we're going to take your calls now, 630-937-124, 618-6730. Those are the numbers to call. Come talk to us.
Jamaica's poverty rate has dropped from 16.7% to 8.2%. As the government's economic program begins to pay off, our country is heading towards sustained growth. We are building Jamaica. The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 16 minutes past 7.
Every school is free of unhealthy, ultra-processed products. You know, those high in salt, fats, and sugar. If only that weren't a dream. The reality is that many children have an unhealthy diet at school, and 23% of them are overweight or obese. This can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Let's protect our children's right to health with a policy for schools that prevents unhealthy food marketing and ensures access to nutritious foods. The time is now. Let's implement the National School Nutrition Policy. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
With so
much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills. Fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We are now taking your calls. The numbers again, 630-937-124 and 618-6730. Quick update, not from our match,
hold
but...
on. Isn't that tomorrow? It's tomorrow. Curacao versus Bermuda. It's tomorrow.
Based on what Wayne said, I understand they have a match this evening. Unless I misinterpreted what
tomorrow,
he said.
Thursday, November 14th. Right, Books? Tomorrow. No, man. Bermuda versus Curacao. Isn't that tomorrow? Or is that today? Today's the 14th? Yes.
Today is the 13th.
Tomorrow. So tomorrow. Today's the 13th. Yeah. Omalo.
Yeah, good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Siobhan.
Good evening. How are you doing, Omalo?
I'm doing fine. You?
On the circumstances, doing quite well myself, actually.
Beautiful. As long as the mind is in a great place, you're in a great place. Yeah? But, I called tonight, because I've seen a very disturbing video made by an artist, an entertainer. And I wonder if the video was made in the interest of Jamaica, or he was either thinking about the people that need aid here in Jamaica when he was making that video. Yeah? Because there's a lot of people still need a lot of aid here in Jamaica. And if you're going to make a video where it could cause damage to these relief coming to Jamaica, I don't think you have the people's interest at heart.
That's one perspective. But what about the perspective of bringing it to public attention so that if indeed something like that is happening, it can be exposed?
No, but you see, when you are in a position where you could call authority and speak to authority and authority act, you call things to attention when authority are not acting. So it becomes public pressure on authority to act. So something is not happening inside my household, and I could speak to my father or my mother, and I said, no, I'm going to go outside and tell everybody to call attention to what is going on.
Yeah.
You see...
So you're saying it should have been, perhaps the first point of contact would have been to call the relevant minister or authority to...
The relevant authority.
And not go public. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to show you something, with the difference between, because I see an arrogance in the way this message was sent, and I'm going to show you a difference in someone when someone is thinking about Jamaica. Usain Bolt has come under tremendous pressure losing his money at SSL. There were hundreds, maybe hundreds of media houses around the world that wanted to do an interview. Based on this, and maybe at the time he was angry, he could have went on and say anything bashing Jamaica financial system, which maybe would have caused damage because a lot of people would have said, no, we can't trust that if Usain Bolt can't trust it. But Usain Bolt's interest was always Jamaica. I must protect Jamaica. I love Jamaica. The image that people see of Jamaica must be seen in a light that I want people to see it in.
Here, yo, Malo.
We have to be, I'm going to say, please, I'm asking these entertainers with their arrogance and self-interest, please be really thinking about what you're saying when you're saying it about Jamaica. Please do it.
All right, Omalo, hear you. Thanks for the call. Alric, good evening.
Good
evening, Alric.
Midday, what one? Yeah, break up,
You're
Alric.
breaking up there, Alric.
Yeah, break up.
We're not get back to light yet.
I know. Oh, Lord. Yes.
I hear Siobhan last night and I have to congratulate him. He was agreeing with Mr. O'Brien about that little pittance that the UK is
Sorry.
We're losing Alric. Alric?
Yeah, Alric.
Oh, we've lost him. Sorry about the Alric. 630-937-124. 618-6730. Elaine?
Hi, Siobhan and Ricardo.
Hi, Elaine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. You know, I have this one thing to say. And, you know, I was thinking about it today. If Buddha send the truck to collect the goods then, right? And the person take up a empty barrel. The barrel must be empty traveling on the truck.
If they were stolen at the airport, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then take up the empty barrel and carry to the warehouse. Because Master Buddha said, when they reach the warehouse, and see everything missing in an empty barrel.
So you're saying when they pick up the
empty barrel.
That's what you mean. Yeah, that's a reasonable question.
Yes, it's bothering me from today. The person who carried, did he take up an empty barrel?
Yeah. Reasonable.
Oh my God. Something not right. Because if me send you for something and it's a packet, something full, and you come and get it empty, the person must wonder why I take up an empty barrel.
You're saying some red flags should have immediately gone up the minute that he took those items off.
Something don't right.
Yeah.
When he reached the warehouse, he noticed the empty barrel and what take out of the barrel at the warehouse.
That's a reasonable expectation. I mean, it should have dawned on you that this feels far less than it should be under the circumstances.
Right. The who go for it should know there's an empty barrel there and something, all right. Why wait to go to the warehouse at that time I go find what things missing an empty barrel? Okay, Ricardo.
All right, Elaine. Thanks for the call. Carl.
Evening, Ricardo.
What's going on? Oh, Carl, I owe you an apology.
Okay, no problem.
Let me give you the apology. I don't remember how. It might have been last week or the week before. You had raised a concern that the opposition might not be. How did you put it? You were essentially saying that you feared that they were going to be playing politics.
Yeah.
Based on a statement you heard in the parliament, and I was intolerant of the view.
Yes, man, tell you. Even close the program and say, sorry, Carl.
Yes.
And
but having seen, was it Tuesday? Yes, Tuesday's sitting. I admit that I am perturbed. I put it no stronger than that. I am perturbed, and I fear because I don't welcome it. I fear that you may be onto something, and so I owe you an apology for being so quick to dismiss you out of hand.
Okay. And that's the reason why Nationwide is doing so well, the man. If when I host do anything that when I go back and look at it, then come and apologize to them caller. Anyhow, Buju Banton last night or sometime said if the top of the stream is dirty, what you must expect about the workers, the head of the stream in Jamaica.
He said that?
Go and listen to it properly.
Oh, I haven't listened to the video, I have to admit. He said if the head of the stream is
dirty or corrupt or something. I think it's corrupt. What you expect the workers they must do. I want to remind Buju Banton that I think of the person who is in talking didn't went to no prison for cocaine. America didn't hold on him for no cocaine. Didn't hold on him for no cocaine. And Buju Banton must be very careful. And I think the police should find somewhere to prosecute Buju Banton for misleading the country.
I think that might be going too far, Carl. I mean...
I don't know if I support that.
He suggested that the goods were at some point misappropriated. The government, fortunately, has covered their end of the matter, saying, no. the minute it got off the plane, it went straight to your trucks. We had no hand in that. So it does not necessarily mean that at some point further down the chain, the items were not taken or otherwise misallocated. So let's not go to the point to suggest that he is attempting to mislead the country.
Okay, Shavan. I'm going to say something to you. Why would you never stop to ask some question before he put out all of
that? I agree with you. I think, and I said it so many times, I feel like social media brings out the worst in individuals when if you take a moment to think and just follow the proper chains, you might come to a better result. But sometimes we just immediately go to social media first in order to express outrage. And I think that is in itself essence the problem.
The next thing I want to say to you, Buju Banton also said that in carrying goods and a cargo for the People's National Party.
Yes, I heard that part, yes.
That is another problem there.
Well, why you think that's a problem?
Why?
If he's bringing the goods to allow the MPs from the opposition to be able to distribute them, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Ricardo,
yes.
You're not an idiot.
No, I'm not.
You're not an idiot.
But Mr. Mary, hold on. But Mr. Mary has not made, has not hidden his support, allegiance, if you want to call it that. He hasn't hidden that. So I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised that he's trying to assist the PNP MPs.
Ricardo.
Yes.
The People's National Party with the leader can get whatever documents he needs to carry in whatever he want to carry into the country. Right, to come through Buju Banton.
I think Mr. Mary was doing that of his own volition. I don't think it's a matter of that it needed to go to the opposition. But what I will agree with you on, Carl, there was no need to color it. You brought the goods in order to assist the Jamaican people. It could have been left
I'm going to say something to you, Shava.
Yeah.
Buju Banton must carry nothing more in Jamaica unless every package full.
What do you mean?
It must take days to clear anything that Buju Banton take into Jamaica as from today.
No, Carl.
Why would you do that to a Jamaican citizen?
Why always carry to extremes? No, Carl. No, man. You're always a character extreme. No. Don't support that. No, Carl. Do not support that.
Ricardo, what Buju Banton did last night was to sell Jamaica that the things them are coming into the country to help the people who get damaged.
So I agree with you that does do reputational damage. Yes, I agree with you on that. Yeah, man, I agree with you. Absolutely.
And a person like Buju
But
Banton,
I don't know if we can get to the point of saying
Ricardo,
we're going to
like
slow down
Buju
his
Banton,
clearance.
We're going to discriminate against a Jamaican citizen.
Ricardo,
yes.
A person like Buju Banton doesn't have that standard anymore to could do something like that. His reputation is not clean.
All right, Carl. Hear you. Thanks for the call. 630-9371-4 618-6730. Karen.
Hello, good night.
Hi, Karen.
Evening.
Hi, I just want to talk something about the ODPEM.
ODPEM, yes.
Yes, the week when the hurricane, it blew the Tuesday, the Friday. I went there with my certificates, my qualifications.
Sorry, when you say you went there, you mean to the head office?
Yes.
In New Kingston?
Yes. I went and I told them that I would love to volunteer. And they didn't take out my certificates from out of my envelope. And the young lady at the front, she called someone in the back and it said that a lady is here. She wants to volunteer. And I was trained in emergency operation management. And plus I have MBA and also risk management. And they said that they didn't want anybody.
You wanted to, when you say you wanted to volunteer, you mean you wanted to volunteer at the head office?
I went there for them to place me somewhere to do something.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Before Ricardo addresses that, if you are still interested in volunteering, I understand we had that was Remind me, Dana, if you're there, we had a gentleman on and a young lady from our organization. It's on the tip of my tongue. Major Basil Jarrett. He leads an organization that coordinates volunteers. You can reach out to him. Stay on the line. I'm sure Dana can provide you with that assistance in terms of reaching out to Major Basil Jarrett. CVSS. What does that stand for again? Remind me.
Pardon?
Council of Voluntary Services, CVSS. It's coordinated by Major Basil Jarrett. They are reaching out for volunteers to assist with the hurricane relief. So if you're still interested, you can work out the matter of ODPEM, but if you're still interested in volunteering, I'm sure Major Basil Jarrett can find some placement for you.
I can also suggest you, Karen, on the supportjamaica.gov.jm website, there is a tab for volunteers. I'm looking at it now. It asks you to register. So it takes your name, your contact number, your WhatsApp number, your email address, your address, home address, your gender, and it also asks you to say where you want to volunteer. So it has food distribution, shelter operations, first aid or medical assistance, transportation and driving, debris cleaning and cleanup, communication and coordination, administrative and registration, counseling or psychosocial support, meal preparation like a cook or a chef, or other areas. And it asks you the parish that you want to volunteer in, and it has availability, like what you can put in when you want to, when you're available to volunteer, and whether you have equipment and transport and that kind of a thing. So I'd recommend that to you as well. So it's supportjamaica.gov.jm, and once you get on there, there's a tab. It's to the right. It's in what's that color? Purple, navy blue. Volunteer. Yeah, it's right there, prominent at the front. So you'll see it. So you have preliminary national needs list, report incidents, donate now, and then the final one is volunteer. And I'm sorry to hear that experience at ODPEM.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Karen, have a good one. And thank you for wanting to volunteer. That's the right spirit.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, man. All right, have a good one. 630-9371-24 618-6730. Bobby, good evening.
Good evening, Siobhan. Good evening.
Bobby?
Oh, dear.
Lost him. Sorry. Bobby?
Yes.
Hearing you.
Good evening, Ricardo.
Hey.
Good evening, Siobhan.
Good evening, Bobby. How you doing?
Well, I'm okay. Well, I put on my boxing gloves tonight now because Ricardo and I, we are going to...
Go again. We put on your boxing gloves because...
I put on my boxing gloves because you and I, we are going to have a showdown here right now.
No? All right. Let's see.
Okay. All right. You see what Buju Banton did?
Mm-hmm.
He did a massive damage to Jamaica. And I don't think Buju Banton, you see, of the people in the western side of the country and other parishes who severely damaged by this Category 5 hurricane called Melissa, he don't have them. He doesn't have the interest of those people at heart because he wouldn't come out and say something like that to really damage the country. I would like to ask Buju Banton something tonight. The person who him sent to clear that barrel, did that person check the barrel and see if it is an empty barrel that person receive, and from the wharf to where he's supposed to deliver that barrel? Do we know if on the journey, if during that time the things them not put on wings and fly out of the barrel? In somebody's hand, instead of coming to make that damage to the country? It was the same thing I was discussing, something similar I was discussing the other night with Siobhan and Sandrina. You see, the opposition, the government side, ask them, please, come and volunteer with us in the hurricane relief process, right? Come, do me a beg now. Come, beg them, I beg them. They refuse. And them give a flimsy excuse why they don't want to go and join the government side. in delivering care packages for those people. And now, here Buju Banton now come with something like this? Tell me, what is this thing now saying overseas to those people who intend to send more care package here to Jamaica? Eh? I tell you, man, as what Mutty Perkins used to say, I don't think you and Siobhan born that time. But as what Mutty Perkins...
I knew who Mutty Perkins was.
Huh?
I knew who Mutty Perkins was.
We're not
that young.
Right. As what Mutty Perkins used to say, oh, what a tangle web we are in. A very, very terrible web. And you see, all the while, when this government is in office, somebody choose to come and damage the come and try and damage the image of semi beautiful country where me love. Eh? But you see, I just want to say, I must say thanks to Nationwide, because only Nationwide alone, when people like these come and do their damage and so on, and Nationwide alone try to correct certain things and tell that individual where that individual go wrong. So I just want to urge Buju Banton, we are all Jamaicans. Hurricane hit us. Let us remember our brothers and sisters who are getting aid from overseas. Be careful what you go on public airwave and say you are not doing anything good for the country. Love the country. Stay firm, sir. Okay then, and God bless you all here.
All right, God bless you too. 630-9371-4618-6730. Siobhan.
Well, I just want to give an update. We said that the game regarding Curacao and Bermuda was tomorrow, but I mean, I'm seeing live reports from that game where Curacao is up 2 points to Bermuda's 0. So unless something dramatically changes, it looks like Curacao is going to be the one to beat when Jamaica finishes with Trinidad this evening. As I said, always the nail biters with us. We have to do everything dramatic.
630-9371-4618-6730. We're taking your calls. Take a break. Oh, we have Oliver. Oliver?
Yeah, man. Big up on the show.
Good evening, Oliver.
Yeah, man. Big up on the show. I listened to Mr. Paul LC, Philip Paula.
Yes.
On another station. He was talking about the issue with the steering committee. And the PNP said would really be duplication of the PAC, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, when I listen to Mr. Powell, you know what dawned on me? Mr. Powell seems more concerned about who chairs the Joint Select Committee than he is concerned about actually working together with the government to provide some kind of oversight. Because guess what? The PAAC's mandate is broad, eh?
Pretty much, yes. Outside of accounting matters specifically, it is quite a broad mandate.
Very broad mandate. And it is going to be focused on all the spending of the government, the MDAs, the ministries, department, the agencies of government over the life of the administration. That's all.
Yeah, that's what it does, yeah.
So this hurricane...
So in other words, it will not isolate Melissa, and Melissa will become its sole remit. That's not what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Right.
Melissa will not be the sole remit of the PAC.
Right.
So when he says that the PAC exists to do what the Joint Select Committee is doing, he's being disingenuous, and he's actually placing an issue on the table that is not an issue. No, it is evident to me that the PNP are projecting. What do I mean? They say in one breath, we want unity, man, we want unity, we want transparency, we want accountability. But in another breath, they do everything to undermine unity, accountability, and transparency. Because they want to use, apparently, the PAC, as a political space to try and kind of show up the government if the government make any issues. If they were a part of a committee that is joint, then they would have collective responsibility, not so?
Yeah.
Now, I want to say this, Reggie. The country elected one government. And if everything goes wrong with Melissa, the government has to take the blame. The opposition will go back out of everything, and the government will get beaten. If it go right, every NGO, every civil society, opposition, all of them are going to want to take piece of the praises, not so?
There you go. Success has many fathers.
Failure
is an orphan. Yeah.
And that's the problem, The anti-government factions in our society does not want the government to do well, They are conflicted. They want people to get help and they want recovery, but they don't want the JLP government to do well. They want them to fail. So they're caught between the devil and the deep blue sea in their minds, because if the government does well, they feel like say go well for their PNP intentions. But if the government fails, they feel like it will do well for the PNP.
But why would you want the government to fail? The government's failure would hurt the country itself.
But they're not seeing it from that perspective. That's why Mr. Powell is talking the way he's talking.
I keep telling people that there are some among us who only think in 5-year cycles. They don't think a long term. They only think towards the next election.
Mr. Paul said that the Joint Select Committee would be chaired by the government.
No, what I said from Tuesday evening, I said that it was clear to me that the reason the opposition wants the PAAC to do it is because they will chair the PAAC. And so it would give them authority over setting the agenda, that sort of a thing. That was clear to me from the beginning.
Working together.
It's a way of centering themselves. And
the man went as far as saying that the reason why the Prime Minister suggested the Joint Select Committee of Parliament was because he wants to undermine the PAAC and its work. That's what he said.
And we also should remember that the PAAC, the party in opposition, has historically used it to great political effect.
As one would expect.
Right. So it's clear to me what the strategy is from the opposition. Yeah.
Why would we need a broad-based oversight committee that is made up of people who are not elected by us to run this country? We elected a government to run the country. And we're supposed to give the responsibility now to the non-elected people to give oversight to the most devastating hurricane that we've ever seen. And if these non-elected people get it wrong, if them get it wrong, are the government going to take the beating? No, the government should lead.
Siobhan.
The government should lead the process and coordinate and work with stakeholders. But
Yes.
the government has to lead the process.
Siobhan, I've always told you my contempt for government by committee. And you have an explanation for that, where it comes from.
It's a very socialist, communist way of essentially spreading out blame in order to suggest that no one has actual culpability for a matter.
Yeah.
You send it to a committee. As a result, it's the committee's collective decision.
Yeah,
no single person is to blame if something goes wrong.
I don't like it neither, Carla. I've never liked it. This idea that every single thing we outsource to unelected bureaucrats.
It's designed by committee. I'm sure you've heard that term.
I hate it. I don't like it, Carla. I've never liked it. And the reason I particularly don't like it is because a lot of those committees, we the people can't hold them accountable. We have no authority over them whatsoever.
They're not elected by the people.
Yeah, laws unto themselves often. Yeah.
And then what the opposition is proposing to do in giving such a committee the mandate to oversight, wouldn't that in itself be contradictory to the bylaws and the structures of government, meaning that it is the Auditor General who has the ultimate audit responsibilities, the PAC who has the ultimate oversight responsibilities, so the opposition contradicting themselves.
I also raised the concern that I don't know if the PAC is agile enough under the circumstances.
Of course it's not.
To undertake the kind of oversight it's suggesting.
It's not. And we fool ourselves to believe that it is. Because oftentimes it does the work. It does the work in the back end. Yeah, it reviews things after the fact. Right? Yeah.
Straight politics.
Sorry, this is Troy or Oliver.
Oliver, this man.
Oh, it sounds like okay. All right. Yeah,
Troy is a youth from Eastern
Westmoreland. Yeah, for a second year sounded like him.
Yeah, man, I like that youth. Brilliant mind.
Yeah, man. But yeah, no, your points are spot on, and I agree. I've never liked it either. This idea that everything is governed by committee. Never liked it.
It cannot work in a democracy that we vote in a government, but we must take away the responsibility of the government and give it to non-elected people in the name of transparency and accountability when those people are not accountable to the populace.
Yeah. All right. Here you, Oliver. Appreciate the call. 630-937-124, 618-6730. Bud.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I hope you all hear me okay.
Yes, man.
I have my first question is, how old are you? No, don't answer. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I like to listen to the program when both you and your buddy is on. I'm a friend of Mr. Vaz, not the son, Doug Vaz.
Douglas Vaz, yes, the father.
Yeah, right. And I know his son when he was a kid going to school. And he sounds just like his dad. And he takes everything to a different level. I consider him very, very efficient. Did you realize that he provided a manifest for the cargo shipment that Buju Banton said he sent?
Yes, I saw that.
Okay. So when Buju Banton is disputing or suggesting that his stuff was stolen at the airport, why didn't he come on after Mr. Vaz provided the manifest?
As in, why didn't he do a live interview?
Say that again?
Why didn't he do an interview, you're saying?
No, he posted something on his page, disputing or criticizing Mr. Vaz's response.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying Mr. Vaz provided the manifest after he posted his reply.
Mm-hmm.
So Buju Banton hasn't come back to say whether or not it's correct. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, Carlo.
Yeah. Right. So if Mr. Vaz is wrong and Buju Banton is right, why doesn't Buju Banton come back and dispute what Mr. Vaz is saying?
Well, that is only for Mr. Buju Banton to explain. I don't think we can read into his mind at this point. I believe the government has provided, as you said, the receipts as to how they handled that cargo, and I don't know if any more can be expected from their side as to an explanation to the items.
Yeah, but Siobhan, what I'm questioning is that if Buju Banton is so adamant that his stuff was stolen at the airport, claiming that it has a stove and some Starlink connections missing. So why doesn't he come now that Mr. Vaz has presented the manifest or shown the manifest on the TV? That's my question. It seems like it's difficult for you all to answer, but I can understand. Have a good evening.
All right.
Have a good evening. Although I think it's a reasonable request on the part of the callers that he should make an account if he believes the minister is incorrect in some way. He should come to the social media, as he was quick to do in the first instant, and explain himself as to say, okay, if the minister is, in his opinion, incorrect, provide the information to say otherwise. But I think in terms of from the aspect of the government, I think that is settled at this point, until more is said from Buju Banton. I think that is settled. Lord Lowe, good evening. Ludlow?
No, it's not Ludlow. It's who done it.
Who done it?
Yeah, so you're mixing up with Ludlow. Ludlow, gonna sleep, man.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm giving thanks, you know. Ricardo, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, man, I'm giving thanks. Ricardo, remember when we keep telling you that the JLP will win the election and you always say, oh, not so sure. You remember them talk there?
Mm-hmm.
We used to give you?
Yes.
You understand? We're sure because we know that Jamaicans have a lot of bright people still, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
But this Butcher Banton thing, the call a while ago was making a valid point because if the minister responded, right, he should then come back and rebut what the minister said or shut up his mouth or just hand over the matter to his lawyer. Because you can't come out and make those kind of broad allegations and then when the minister responded, you can't push out again. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look good on his part, and he seems to really have some really luck because everybody has bring things and has him bring things that pay bangarang and cantankerousness in our place. You understand? So there's something about him from him because Jay look like something really different with Bujo. Right? Into either cut him locks and reel and come again. But two quick things. I come for L.A. Lewis this evening. Why? L.A. Lewis told the people that no hurricane was coming. And my God,
Did he?
He did.
Oh,
yeah, man, he went and he said it. And these people took L.A. Lewis' advice instead of what the expert weather people were saying, right? Move to shelters, take all the irrelevant documents them, and take away yourself. Now, they refuse to do that and then cussing the Prime Minister and blaming the Prime Minister. They listen to L.A. Lewis, ignore the weather people then. No, man.
There's only so much you can do to help people who done it. At the end of the day, all the warnings were issued, all the orders given. Outside of specifically and physically coercing individuals into shelters, what more can you do? And at that point, would you be interfering with their civil liberties?
So we probably have to look at mandatory and enforced evacuation.
Well, I
have those.
Well, it was a mandatory evacuation issued for many communities, but I don't know about forced. I wonder if we're delving into territory that might be dangerous at that point.
Yeah, I know both of you are not lawyers, but could he be charged for contradicting life-threatening information instruction during a hurricane?
I
don't know.
I see to Ricardo on those matters of constitutionality.
I don't know of such an offense.
Both are not lie, but may I put it to you guys as a good lawyer.
I don't know of such an offense. I don't know of such an offense.
You don't think he could be charged?
No, I'm saying I don't know that is an offense.
I think it would be a very precarious situation when you consider rights to free speech in terms of telling somebody they can't say certain things. It's very precarious, but I see your point.
I'd be interested to hear from a lawyer if it constitutes public mischief.
What do you think?
That I'd be interested in hearing.
What do you think the Ukrainian president would do to him if he told his people that Russia is going to come on?
Very different regime, as Ricardo said. Situation, my brother. But we're out of time. Who done it? Appreciate the call. Yeah, public mischief. Maybe misinformation needs to be captured under that. Because
as I said, it would seem it's a very precarious situation.
Yeah,
because you're delving into very serious matters of human rights, civil liberties, etc. When you tread in a certain
direction.
The question
is, should the Constitution protect stupidity? something for you to think about.
Okay, so listeners, the match between Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, 0-0 at this point. We can get through if we don't win this one, as I understand it. We just need to beat Curacao, and Curacao seems on track to win their match, but let's give ourselves that little bit of cushion, no? Reggae boys, come on. Okay, we can do this.
Rise up, yeah? All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to the team here at Nationwide. We'll do it all again tomorrow. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good evening.
As a parent, you give your